Okay, now we should be back up and running. Everything's been rebooted now. Computer's been rebooted, router's been rebooted, modem has been rebooted. And let's see if we are still having an issue. This could be on YouTube, it may be not. I may be chasing my tail here. Yeah, it still seems like it's a little bit off. The good news is it has nothing to do with the build. Everything we're doing on the build is going exactly as planned. It's just the broadcast, you know, and my thought is I can stop doing it live and I can instead record it for editing later so it'll be a smoother playback. But I really would prefer this to be live, but man, I would hate for it to come out to be unwatchable. There's one other setting I can change. YouTube has 2 ingest servers. So once again, I'm gonna stop the stream and move to the secondary ingest server. Oh, wait a minute. People are saying it's better right now. Let's move around a little bit, see if it, yeah, it's, I don't know, what do you guys think? Should we leave it or should we go? Let's take a vote. It's gonna take a second to see everybody. Keep the build going, they say. The show must go on.
Right on.
All right, so if you're just joining us now, this is Bryce. Bryce is building a computer for a customer who has ordered a machine from me. All the parts that we're installing on this build are all listed in the video description below this video with links to all the parts. So we've got the power supply installed. This is a Seasonic, what is this, a 550 or something like that?
Yeah, 550.
And you know, modern parts require less power, generally speaking, than older parts. A 550 watt power supply is more than enough to power this and the graphics card going into it. The only reason he would need more would be if he was going to add a second graphics card, or perhaps, gee, I don't even know what would consume a lot of power besides that. And even now the modern 10 series NVIDIA cards, they use less power than the 9 series and the 8 series, et cetera, et cetera. So progress, as they say. So with the optical drive and the power supply installed, as we're prepping the case, we can get the hard drive installed. Bryce is doing all the work. I'm putting Bryce to work today. Yeah. I still see we've got a heck of a lag going on here, though. It's really annoying. You go ahead and do that. Just let me have you step around so everybody can see you.
I think I'm gonna put this hard drive on the bottom rack here.
If you put it on the bottom, then the cable has to go further, but we can always move it later if we don't like it there. So you don't have to make I guess what I'm trying to say is you can put it anywhere you want to put it, and it's very easy to move it later if you don't like where you put it. So
just tell me where to put it, Jerry.
Put it on the bottom.
Okay.
No screwdriver is needed for this installation. You're gonna tear it. See the no, not like that. You see the little cutout? No, on the side you were at.
What?
Turn around so everybody can see.
All right.
You never opened a package of chips before, or what?
What are chips? I don't eat.
Oh no, you're in the wrong house. I'm practically a Dorito factory.
Right on. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna roll with it. Yeah.
I see another moderator's joined us. That's Bill Leatherland. Bill joins us from the UK. Big supporter of the channel. Hi, Bill. Good to see you in here. I know it's like 9 hours later in England right now. I think it's probably around 10 o'clock in the evening there. For those who are getting an error, just close your YouTube app and restart it again. I suppose if they could hear that message, they wouldn't need to restart their YouTube app. All right, so you've just installed the hard drive into the hard drive tray or caddy, and that just slides in and it's going to click into position. That's it. And we always put it in with the connectors facing the back of the case so that we hide the cabling. Oh, it's 9 o'clock in the UK. I guess daylight savings time threw me off because, yeah, that's the excuse I'm going to use. Yeah. They're telling me it's all on YouTube, Carrie, it's not me. Well, then YouTube should hire me so I can fix their freaking problems. Carrie, your channel has no videos listed. Lovely. I'm sure that won't affect my YouTube income at all. How am I ever going to go without those $4?
Yeah.
All right, so wow,
140 in India.
I'm looking at the chat right now. All right, so what do you want to do next? You've got the optical drive, you've got the hard drive, you've got the power supply installed. It seems to me that the case is prepped. What do you think?
Yeah.
Unless you want to put the liquid cooler in, or we can save it for later. There's no right or wrong order to building. I'm letting you make these decisions.
I don't know. I'd say put the liquid cooler in first so it's not a struggle when the motherboard's in. What would you say?
There's no right or wrong answer here. My only concern, I'll tell you why I don't put the liquid cooler in, and we can if you want to. Mm-hmm. This is the Kraken X62, which is one, there is a bigger cooler than this, but this is a big cooler. And I've run into some issues where the motherboard won't go in if the cooler's in, or the cooler won't go in if the motherboard's in, right?
Yeah.
And so my only fear is that we install it, find out it doesn't fit, and it should fit with no problems. Mm-hmm. I've already done the research on this and we should have no problems. Then we take it back out again. Because no matter what, we're keeping the motherboard. No matter what, that's not gonna get swapped out. If we have any fitment issues with the liquid cooler, we're gonna have to change it. So it doesn't matter to me if you want to install it with the idea that you may have to uninstall it. Or if you want to do it later. That would be the only thing I hesitate on. But again, no right or wrong answer. Did I just provide a different answer for you?
Yeah.
That I just told you what to do?
Yeah, I guess.
When I told you were going to decide?
Yeah.
I forgot we have a memory card reader here that also has to be installed. So this will be part of the case prep as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you. I answered you before I thought it through.
You're all confusing me. I guess let's just do the motherboard first then.
Okay, good idea. I like the way you think. Oh, God, that's funny.
Carry. Oh. I messed up here.
Missed a piece of tape?
Yep.
So the person joining me, this kid, this is Subaru Mike's grandson. His name is Bryce, and Bryce has built a couple of computers on his own from watching my videos. When Bryce met me, he said, "I already know who you are," which was kind of flattering for me. Like, wow, somebody watched my videos that I've actually met in person. And he enjoys it, and I thought, hey, you want to join me on a video, and you can build a computer, and here he is. So for those of you just joining us, wondering who the heck this kid is and how I know him, that's the story, and that's what I'm sticking with. How's that? Good?
It's good, yeah. It's a little recessed, but...
Yeah, well, I mean, when it clicks in, that's where it goes.
Yeah.
We don't want to secure this down, and I'll tell you why. We're going to have to get in there later. This plugs in through the USB ports, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to have to be able to, well, I guess you're going to be able to reach that okay.
Yeah.
Did it come with screws?
Let's check the magical box. It did not.
No? Okay. I'm not really worried about securing this in position because it's not heavy. I'm not worried about it going anywhere and shipping. We could put a couple screws in here, one on each side. I'll consider that when we're done.
Yeah.
And we're going to wire this up when we do the rest of the wiring. So let's go ahead and move that to the back.
Right on. And then we're going to do the motherboard.
Yeah, let's prep the board.
Yeah. Right on.
So yeah, go ahead and take that Lazy Susan and kind of push it up and to the left. Lift it up a little so you don't scratch. My wife will kill me. That's the screwdriver. Don't worry about that. Okay. There's a game this kid made as a lark, the PC building simulator. Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
It's really horrible. It is nothing to like building a PC. They put the power supply in upside down. The only choice of parts you have are from manufacturers that sponsor it. You don't actually have to screw anything down. It says click the board and click it where it goes. So it's not like building a computer at all. I don't know how to explain this to you guys, but you cannot simulate real life on a computer for anything. You can, if you played a hockey game on the Xbox,
Yeah.
and you used to play hockey, how close are they to being the like?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Like,
When you get checked into the boards on the Xbox, it's not really like being checked into the boards in real life. You don't have to worry about balancing on your skates. You don't have to worry about
breaking ribs.
the cold, hard ice when you fall and hit it.
Yeah.
So I don't want anybody to think, even including watching these videos, that this replaces real life experience. It is nothing like real life experience. All it is it's a guide to help you along. We have not evolved to the point where we can effectively educate each other through experiences where you don't have to do it on your own. So the PC build simulator might be fun, but as a tool for learning, it is completely useless, in my opinion, apart from giving you a concept of where the parts go. But how they install and the frustrations of plugging the wires in and such like that, it just does all that for you. But I see some comments about it, and
Somebody said it was in beta still.
yeah, it's never really going to be. It's never going to replace the real thing.
No.
All right, let's get moving on this, and we're going to take the motherboard out, place it on top of the box. We do that for two reasons. One is that we don't scratch the counter because it's all pointy on the bottom. And take the I/O shield out, because the I/O shield needs to go in the case, and that is the last step of case prep. And I always forget. You can just put the motherboard anywhere right now.
Yeah, I just fell.
You can set it down, it's fine. Take that piece of cardboard and just chuck it. And then put everything else back in this box, except the motherboard and the I/O shield. There you go.
Right on. Look at this. It's like my first time building a computer. I don't even know.
Touch the case.
Grounded. I'm grounded. I can get this tape off.
No, just chuck
No?
that. I mean, you can, but
I
people on
usually do
YouTube have a conniption, and I just want to avoid that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, well, welcome to you. Welcome to the internet.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make a difference either way. If we weren't building on the cardboard, I would use the anti-static, and I've got a video showing that that's a myth about that whole situation there. But after you've explained it about 7,500 times, you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
They win from exhaustion. Does the heatsink on the motherboard have any plastic on it? Do you see any other, like here? Is there any plastic on this heatsink?
No.
So the reason you want to take any plastic off of here, this gets really, really hot and it'll create a really bad smell. Go ahead and put the I/O shield into the motherboard now while we've got a chance.
Nice. And then we just pop the I/O shield in.
You're gonna do it that way? All right.
Yeah,
You got it upside down though.
I do. I do.
Why don't you step around so it'll be a little easier, more natural, and they can see you. Bryce, they said you have a cool name.
Thank you, I do appreciate that. You can thank my parents for that one. I guess technically, yeah, I do it from the outside.
Yeah, the way you're doing it's much easier. No, you can't do it that way. It has to, you were doing it right the first time. You can't do it the other way.
It just felt weird. There we go.
Fernando Cardoso says hello from Portugal. Hello, Fernando.
Why won't you pop in?
Did you get it in there?
Yeah, but it like the top is.
Oh, that's not in then.
I don't know why it's not popped in.
Hold on. You got. It looks like you got the fan kit. Oh no.
No, I don't.
Sometimes it requires a little bit of
manliness,
coercion. So we can't say that in the politically correct world today. Humanness. All right.
I keep spinning it.
I was just showing everybody.
Yeah.
All right, prepping the board.
Yeah. Let's roll the CPU.
Now, I'm going to zoom us in here.
Yeah.
Actually, since we're lagging anyway, this will be a good time for me to fire up camera number 2.
Numero dos.
You looked at me all serious when I said we can't say that. I was just being funny.
I take everything seriously.
All right. Let's go to camera 2, guys. Hold on. Let's see if my camera 2 still works now through all this.
What's my favorite game? I like Stalker. Yeah. That's my favorite series anyway.
All right, guys. Ignore that thing that's on the screen. I'm trying to get camera 2 up. Which is not coming up. Give me just a second. Should be working, and it's not. Come on, camera 2. All right, now we're on camera 2, and I can move the camera around a little bit here to see if we can get you a nice close-up.
Oh. See, we shouldn't be throwing stuff over there because it gets in the way.
Yeah, well, I gotta make my intern clean it up. All right, let me get this nice zoom. How's that? Kinda, sorta?
Yeah.
Just straighten the box out a little bit for me. Did you just throw the CPU on the floor?
I did not throw it.
All right, that looks good. That looks good. All right, so let's show the folks the CPU box.
Core i7, 8700K.
So I guess you're gonna put the CPU in the socket now?
Yes, I am. We're gonna lift up this tab here. Sorry if my hand got in the way. We're gonna take out this plastic piece.
No, leave plastic pieces on.
You're right, you're right. I haven't built a computer in over a year. We're gonna take out this beautiful CPU here. If I could figure out how to. There we go. Alright, got it here. And then there's...
So one of the secrets I'm going to tell you about figuring out which direction it goes in, you see all the writing on the motherboard?
Yes.
And the writing on the CPU?
Yes.
That'll all face the same direction.
Yeah. Or there's this little gold arrow. Gold arrow on the, I don't know if you guys can see it. There's a gold arrow on the side and then there's a gold arrow.
Well, it's not gold.
Or it's not, it's just in a little triangle here.
Mhm.
You just match those up. Just put it in place. We don't push it down.
I'm going to check your work here. Looks good.
It's been checked. I'm
Yes.
just gonna put the flange back down. This little plastic piece is gonna come off. And there, CPU's in.
And always save that little plastic piece, because if you ever have to take that CPU out, you want to cover up the little pins there because they're very fragile, very easily damaged. I got a video that demonstrates just how easy it is, and that'll just make your motherboard completely worthless. All right, so we've got an M.2 drive, and we've got RAM. What do you want to do next?
Well, since I don't know how to do the M.2, you can show me that.
You want to do an M.2 next?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and, when you unbox it, see if you can do it where people can see you.
Cool. Oh, it's nice. And this is a terabyte.
Terabyte 960 Evo NVMe. Go ahead and leave it in there for right now. And now set it down. On this motherboard, and I'm going to just turn it so everybody can see. We've got an M.2 slot here and here. Okay. I don't prefer this location right here, because the graphics card's going to go here and your CPU's here. Those are your two things that generate heat the most. So by putting an M.2 here, you're putting it near an area of heat. And when an M.2 gets hot, it slows down. Mm-hmm. So they're giving you another one down here. You have three places it can go in. And they've already put a standoff in this position labeled 80. That's the size, 2280 is the size. And they've left the screw in there, so you don't have to worry about where the screw went. It's a very tiny screw, and if you lose it,
It's gone forever.
it sucks. Well, maybe. So what we're going to do, that other screwdriver is too big, so we need a more narrow, more of a number 1 screwdriver instead of a number 2 Phillips. What I want you to do is I want you to take that screw out right there. Now, I want to tell you, this is an NVMe drive, and some motherboards only support NVMe on one M.2 or the other, and some don't support it at all. Sometimes they're SATA and sometimes they're NVMe. NVMe is also PCI Express or PCIe, which is much, much faster than SATA. So I've got a video that explains the difference if people want to learn more about that. But I want you to go ahead and take this screw out so people can see. This little screw right there. We're going to take that out. Now, installing an M.2 drive will be the most challenging thing. That'll be the most challenging new lesson you're going to learn today. Are you prepared for it? Are you ready?
No, because I have very shaky hands. It's probably not going to end well.
Oh, I'm glad you're not holding the camera.
No,
All right.
not that shaky.
So grab the M.2 drive.
Steven Anderson.
Oh,
Thank you
Steven's
with that $20.
nice. Steven has contributed $20 to the channel. Don't let that distract you. It's a very important part. I'm going to put this in, and I'm going to show you how to do it, and then you're going to do it. This goes in on an angle. You see there's a key, meaning there's a groove. It's going to line up with this groove, and I'm going to push it in until the little gold fingers disappear, sort of on an angle. And it looks kind of like a diving board now. Usually it springs up, and then you're going to take that screw and secure it back down, and that's how you do it. You think
I don't know. Seems pretty
you can
complex.
pass the test? All right, your turn.
It's in. It's down, and we're going to screw it. We're going to secure it. That little screw we screwed out earlier.
And you just snug it up.
All right.
You know, it's just holding it in position. We're not sealing it against water and air. So, yeah, it looks good.
Right on.
Yeah, you've installed your very first $400 NVMe drive. How's that feel?
I feel accomplished.
All right. All right, now all you have left is the RAM.
Yeah.
Now we're only installing 2 RAM modules, but we've got 4 sockets. How do we know which of these 4 sockets to use?
And are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
Well, it's gonna be dual channel because there's only 2.
Mm-hmm. Which
So,
2 do you use? You've got 4.
I think it's the black ones. It's not the black ones.
Correct.
It's the gray ones.
As you see here on the circuit board,
Oh,
it says there's numbers, right? 1, 3, 2, and 4. But here's the thing, with Asus boards, they're labeled like A1 and A2 and B1 and B2. And it's like, well, do you put it in A1 and B1 or would you put it in A1 and A2? It's very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
With Gigabyte, it's very simple. If you've got 2 RAM modules, you put it in sockets 1 and 2 first. And in that case, they're staggered, right? So every other socket. So this one's 1, this one's 2, this one's 3, this one's 4. So we're going to be using the gray ones. To keep life as simple as possible, we're going to open all these little retention levers up. And of course, there's a motherboard manual which we could refer to that will also tell us which memory sockets to use if you're not going to be filling all of them.
yeah.
And here's the thing,
SRAM.
it would still work if you installed it in the wrong memory sockets. It just won't work optimally. So oftentimes people will build a computer wrong and be completely unaware that they've screwed anything up because it'll still work.
Yeah.
And they don't have any basis for comparison if they're not doing it regularly. You see a little bit of plastic on there, on the logo, where it says
I do.
the name? Can you just bring that down into the camera a little bit?
Yeah.
Again, this does not have to be removed. It just bothers me. It's a 2-man job. All right, and then,
Right on.
so because people are watching, we don't want to put this one in first. They won't be able to see that one. So, no, you can, it's not specific. I just want you to use this socket closest to you first so the folks watching can see you do both.
All right. Well, the keyhole is gonna match.
You're a keyhole.
What?
I'm sorry, I thought you were insulting me. Nicely done. Nicely done.
Yay! This one also has a little annoying plastic.
They can't see you.
Well, they've already seen it.
That's true.
Then the next one, same thing. That one didn't pop, but it's in.
You sure?
Yes.
Take it back out and put it back in. Make me happy. I want to hear it. I like that better. And then go ahead and close those tabs. Thank you. All right, motherboard is prepped, which means I can move camera 2 and we can go back to camera 1. Look at us, it's got a whole professional thing going on here, except for the lag. Everything's good. All right, let's go ahead and move camera 2 out of the way. Save our batteries. Okay, folks. Classic Mobile Home says you're doing a good job.
Well, I do appreciate that. I'm doing my best.
When Classic Mobile Home gives you a compliment, that's rare. Okay, that screwdriver you just used, my OCD's bugging me. We're not going to need that anymore. It's gone.
What if I take it out right now and just put it back?
It's going to bug me. You'll never be back here again building another computer with me. I'm just kidding. I'm not. All right, so now we've got to put the motherboard into the case.
We should have just left the other camera.
Why?
Because are we just going to do it standing up or are we going to lay it on its side? This would be easier if we just laid it on
You're
its
the
side.
one doing it. How do you want to do it?
I'm going to lay it on its side.
And it's probably going to be best if you take it off the lazy Susan so it doesn't spin around on you. Do you want to do it on the floor and I can film straight down? Because it's even if you build on the counter, I can't get the camera high enough up. So you want to set it on the floor?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take the case, we're gonna lay it down on the floor, we'll go back to camera 2 so you guys can. Rusty says, quick, put the screwdriver back on the table. I will notice.
I know you will.
I will notice.
All right.
That's it, and then you're out of here.
Yeah.
All right, so he's gonna set that down. Now, normally I would lay like a towel or something down. You're okay, you're fine. Just be gentle, don't scratch it. Bryce is good. He's not careless, so I'm not concerned yet. Wow,
Until I burn down the house.
Well, we'll keep you away from the matches. Everything will be okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now let me position camera 2. You need to grab the screws. You're going to need the motherboard screws, and you need to count how many holes that motherboard has, and grab that many screws. And I'm going to take this camera, and we're going to put this camera over here. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good right about there. And then I should be able to switch over. Oh, come on, camera 2. There it is. I think that'll be good. And just ignore my camera feed cable. There, we'll just get that out of the shot.
All right. Let's get this thing going.
All right, you are holding the board correctly by the edges, and I didn't even have to tell you, which is wonderful. Don't put that on your pants, please.
Can you move this cable?
What's that?
Can you move this fan cable from?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sometimes the rear case fan gets in the way, and especially when you have that plastic cover over the I/O shield here.
Yeah.
Now, before you put that in, are all of your standoffs going to line up with the holes, or are there any standoffs where there are no holes?
Actually,
A real simple thing to do is count how many holes you've got.
I've got 7.
You should have 9.
9.
You should have 3 across the top, 3 across the middle, and 3 across the bottom.
1, 2.
Oh, look at that. This one only has 2, doesn't it? 2 across the top. Oh, you know why? Because this board's not long enough. And then 3 across the middle. So you've got 7. You are correct. So that means that the other ones are going to be outside here. So you're fine.
All right.
The other standoffs, in other words, are wider than the motherboard. So they're not going to touch the motherboard. That's my only concern. You don't want a standoff behind your motherboard grounding out against the bottom of your board, or your system could be toasted. So this is where the challenge comes in because of that fan. We're probably going to take that fan out.
Yeah.
That's all right. You can leave the motherboard down there.
I dropped a screw. Oh,
Oh, did you?
Not. It's right here. Right in my
Just
pocket.
turn the motherboard over. There you go. And then, I'll tell you what.
Shall we this?
Yeah, just set that down. And here's a screwdriver. We're going to take that rear case fan out. Sorry guys, he's going to block the camera a little bit while he pulls that fan out. And it's because there's a cover over the I/O, and sometimes those can make the installation a little difficult, but we'll put the fan back on.
This is hard when your glasses are slipping off your face. I'm already blind enough.
It's so easy, even a blind person can do it. Actually, we have several impaired vision viewers that have written to me that they've built their own computers.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So
Good for them.
it is that easy. All right, I'll set that fan aside here. You just give it to me and I'll let you get back to work. Thank you.
All right.
Man, somebody threw garbage all over my floor.
Wasn't me. Not me.
Well, you made that look easy.
It was.
All right, now let me give you the screws. These are the coarse thread screws that came with the case. And you've got 7 of them. We're using a magnetized screwdriver, which is not only safe, but recommended so that you don't drop the screws. And just start them, don't tighten them down until you get all of them going.
All right. Sounds like a deal. I'm really liking this motherboard.
You like that motherboard?
Yeah,
What do you like about it?
just the design on it.
The color?
Yeah, well, the design.
Well, when you say the design, are you referring to the physical layout of where things are and how easy they are to get to? Or are you talking about the way it looks? Are you talking about all of it?
Yeah, all of it.
Just everything about it?
Yes.
Oh, all right. They want to know if you're a computer tech.
I'm not. I am a hockey player, and that's about it.
Just a hockey player
Yep.
who builds computers for fun.
Yeah.
I don't believe you're a hockey player. You still have all your teeth.
Yeah, but I've got lots of x-rays that prove wrong. Or prove,
Lots of x-rays.
prove different, yeah.
I've got x-rays from building computers. What team does he play for? He's not in the NHL yet.
Yeah, right?
Where do you find ice in Arizona?
Oh, there's...
I mean, is there a
You
problem
wouldn't
with...
believe how much ice there is in Arizona.
You don't have a problem with drowning during spring training?
Nope.
All right.
I mean, I do pay a lot to rent the ice, though. Like the team
Yeah.
expenses.
We have a couple of ice rinks here. I know of at least 3. They're good places to go in the summertime to cool off.
Yeah.
Go watch a game. Atech has joined us. Hey, Brian. Of course, Brian has his own YouTube channel there in the UK, and it's a great tech channel. It shows you everything but Brian himself. Brian is just a pair of hands. I'm pretty convinced he doesn't have a head or a body based on the videos. Always good to see Brian, and he knows I like to give him a hard time.
Well,
Hey, Brian, what's wrong with my feed? How come it's lagging? Brian will fix it. You look lost looking for missing
no, yeah, because...
2 on the bottom,
Yeah.
3 in the middle, 2 on the top.
2 on the top, 1 in the middle.
Oh,
I think...
there's a post that comes through one of the holes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That helps hold the board, so you don't put a screw there. So you need 1 less screw than you have. So instead of 7, you would need 6 because that standoff has a post.
Carrie, I think I messed up.
Why?
Because there's not a post on the 6th hole. Right
What?
here.
Oh, there's no hole there. Okay. Point to that again so we can see it. So Gigabyte does this, and I don't know why. And I'm puzzled because I don't know who is out of spec. Is it Corsair, the case manufacturer, that doesn't give us a hole? Or is it Gigabyte that's giving us a hole where no case manufacturer gives you a mount? And I talked to Gigabyte, and they won't give me a straight answer. And I'm convinced, as much as I like Gigabyte, they have decided to make their own rules. So what good is that hole if it's got no place to secure it? Now, ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, it'll make no difference in the performance or the reliability of the computer, but when it comes to OCD, it's really, really disturbing if you can't tell from the tone of my voice.
Yeah, I can tell.
So, Carrie, can you tell me what channel is Brian's? Brian's channel is Brytech09 here on YouTube. be sure and check his channel out. But after my stream, don't stop my stream to go watch his stuff. I mean, even Brian's watching my stream. That's how good it is. You think they're buying this? No? No, I tried. All right, let's go ahead and pick the case back up, put back up on the Lazy Susan. We're going to move the Lazy Susan now. And then once we get that back up, we put that rear case fan back in, and I'm going to switch back to the main camera.
Right on.
I'll put camera 2 over here for now. You know what? This could be a fun little angle to play with. Let's try that. Go ahead and put the rear case fan back in. Do you know which direction that fan goes in?
I'm just gonna be honest, I don't.
Oh, I guess it gets too dark from this angle.
Yeah.
All right, well, so much for that idea.
Oh well.
Okay, so when we're looking at a fan, you notice how this side has these support brackets?
Yeah.
On every computer fan I've ever seen, ever, that's the direction of the air coming out.
Okay.
And on this side where the sender turns, that's the air, this is the side where air is being sucked in. Now some fans along the frame have little arrows that will show you the direction the fan is spinning and the direction of the airflow. There's usually 2 arrows, and they're often really difficult to spot. But we don't, what I would do is, because people can see this logo, is I will orient it with the logo facing up, with the air blowing out the back. We want air coming in from the front and out through the back. So if you look at the front fan, see how the logo and the support brackets here? That's telling you air's coming in. The air's coming in from here. It's going into the case. And we're going to follow the same direction.
All right. Yes, yeah. You want me to feed it through this little cable management hole right here? This.
No, because we're actually going to plug it in on one of these. There's usually a header.
There's one right there.
Oh, that's true, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, but how would you feed it? What?
I don't know.
No, that wouldn't work.
No, it wouldn't.
Let's just go ahead and mount it first. We'll worry about the cabling second.
All right.
I'll tell you what, well, Bryce, while you're doing that, I am going to lower the quality of the stream. This lag is not going away. I'm going to drop the stream down to 720, and you guys may need to reload the page. So I'm going to just take the resolution down to 720. So stick around. We'll be right back in just a second. Okay, so ideally we're back up live now, and it turns out I've been on the backup ingest server this whole time. It doesn't really look much better though. Oh, wait a minute. That looks a lot better. Much better. All right, so we're gonna have to leave it at 720, but it, you know, we did half the build with lag.
Yeah.
It's live, what are you gonna do? I'll just wait for another customer to order a $3,000 computer and do it again.
Yeah.
All right, let's see your handiwork. Got the rear case fan back in.
Beautiful.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. You know, everything looks good here. It's time to put the liquid cooling in. Oh, Bryce, you made a mistake.
What'd I do?
Oh. No, I'm not showing you.
Let me see.
I want to step around the back. Can you see the mistake that you made?
Probably.
I want to give you a minute. I want you to look at that. And while you're looking at it, I'm going to zoom in. Let's grab camera 2. And let's give these viewers a view of seeing what I'm seeing.
What are you seeing?
Keep looking. And if you want, you can look at the YouTube feed.
Well, the IO shell's not on backwards or upside down or...
What do you see on the YouTube feed right now? You see this right here? How do you plug anything in that with that piece of metal hanging down? You see it?
Yeah,
Does your head hurt?
a little bit.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
All right,
So-
I quit. I'm leaving
No,
this.
no. These are very common mistakes. People are so afraid of making mistakes, and mistakes are a good thing. This is how we learn. And I was actually, I have to be honest, I was watching you put that in, and I didn't see it either. And the reason I was watching you was to ensure that that wasn't happening. So we have this is what's called a grounding strap. And there's a USB port underneath of it that we can't get to. What was that?
Nothing.
Okay. We have a strap right here that we have to take the motherboard back out and we have to bend that strap back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's,
What the heck? I'm just gonna put these on the carpet. They just keep falling.
that's fine, I'm gonna move those. I'll move those. Go ahead and just, okay. So what I want you to do is lay this flat. Let's go ahead and take
Take
it.
the fan again.
Yeah, take the fan back out. Take this off the Lazy Susan and lay it down. I'm gonna put these panels back here so we don't damage them.
Yeah, because I am extremely clumsy apparently.
People have asked if the grounding strap is necessary, and I would suggest that the engineers who design them wouldn't put them there if they weren't required, either by FCC law or for engineering reasons. Some people say they just cut these off, but I also know people that cut the ground plugs off of 3-prong outlets, because they only have a 2, and that's very unsafe. And this is not ours. This belongs to a customer, and if we can't do it right, then we have no business doing it for customers.
Yeah.
How you want to build your own machine in your garage or in your basement is up to you. When you're building for somebody else and they're paying you to build, they're relying on you to do it right. That's why they're paying you to do it right. So how you guys do it at home, just bear that in mind, is that there's a difference in liability when it comes to building your own versus building for somebody else.
Oh, this is just
Are you left-handed?
I am not.
Okay.
Why?
Well, there's somebody thought you were left-handed in the chat, and I didn't notice, so I thought I'd ask.
No, I'm not left-handed. I don't think so.
It's funny, sometimes I see comments in the chat like this one that says I should be a computer teacher. I used to be. 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. They want to know if that computer's starting to get a little heavy now.
No?
Not bad?
No?
The heaviest thing we put in there is power supply.
Yeah.
You okay? You need a break? You need some water? You need anything?
No. I'm a worker.
All right, good answer. Good answer.
If I can get this thing screw out.
You can do it.
Oh, it's because I keep missing it.
Ooh, we got a little lag going on there. A little buffering.
Time to fix my problems.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is, where's the motherboard box? Over here? Take the motherboard out, put it back on the box.
All right.
Please. You wanna lift the back end up first, and it comes out just like that. And just... And then this little tab right here, all I have to do is bend that up, and then put the board back in. All that for that. But what's worse is when you get all your cabling done and everything, and you have to undo all that. Yeah. So it's best that you watch for that right after putting the board in, just like we did. So put it back together. Yeah. You know, building is fun anyway. So anytime you get to take a board out and put it back in, you shouldn't be discouraged. It should be like, all right, I can take it out, put it back in again. It's hard to see because the I/O shield cover that's here, you can't see it. You absolutely cannot see that strap.
Is it good now?
We are perfect.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Everybody want to see that? Look at that. Helps if I have the live feed on. Yeah, everything's lined up perfectly there. There, you want that over by you? Is that easier or more difficult?
That's easier. Thank you.
So look, the audience gets two different views. They have the camera straight down, and then they have the I can't see what the heck you're doing view, which is what a lot of people that make these videos do because it's very difficult to film that. The I/O shield should be black. I agree. I don't know why Gigabyte and Asus do that too. Some motherboards you get a black I/O shield. Some motherboards you get a silver one.
Yeah.
And here we got a silver one, even though the board they sent us is black. They have no idea what case we're going to put it in, but you think it would match the board. That's discouraging. I agree. It should be black. All right, let me check your work. Let me see that screwdriver. That's the one that we don't have a screw for. Yep, I can confer that you do good work.
Thank you.
All right, put it back on its feet. Let's put that rear case fan back in.
I feel like I've done this before.
Yeah.
Just alone.
When you do it about 40,000 times like I have, you get that deja vu feeling starting to sink in after about 27 years.
Well, I'm still young.
So am I. Just not compared to you. Dory Mickey says, hello from Hungary.
Wow.
The parts for this build are listed in the video notes below the video. Someone is making a false statement that certain motherboard manufacturers have black I/O shields. That's not true. Only certain motherboards from all motherboard manufacturers pretty much offer black I/O shields. It is not universal across the range of all motherboards for Asus or Gigabyte or MSI. Some are silver, some are black. Asus even has a board with the I/O shield built onto the motherboard, which is really cool.
That's, yeah.
Then you don't have to fit it in there. It just, when you mount the motherboard, it just lines up. Which, why aren't they all done that way?
Who knows?
Neil wants to know if you can use my Panasonic cordless driver. You have not.
I don't know. I don't know if I can handle the power.
You have not. You and I have never built a computer before, so I want to see you build one with a manual screwdriver 2 or 3 times, and then we'll upgrade you to the cordless. But you can use the cordless to take screws out. I'm worried about cross-threading screws. So, and you're young, so.
I prefer manual screwdriver anyway.
Good, good. Freddie says hello from Norway.
Carrie, you ready for cooler?
Mr. Zombie Slayer says hello from Belgium. Man, that makes me hungry for waffles. Belgian waffles.
You're gonna make me hungry.
Oh, sorry. Gonna use a Black & Decker low-powered hand dryer. No, no, no. If you're a novice computer builder, you don't jump ahead into using power tools when you're putting screws in, because it's very easy to cross-thread a screw and you can't feel it until you get to know the driver and how it feels. I mean, if it's your computer, you go ahead and you can do that, but if it's a customer's computer, you probably aren't going to have customers very much longer. It's not really saving much time anyway. We're only putting in, how many screws have we put in? 6, 4 here, 2, what's that, 12 screws we've turned?
6, 4, 10, 12, and then these 4.
It's 16.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're going to be okay. I don't think the carpal tunnel's going to set in just yet.
Yeah.
But it's really useful when you're disassembling to use the cordless and just pull things apart real quick. Eddie says hello from Slovenia. ATCDS says hello from Norway. He says he's an electrician in Norway. Matt E wants to know what happened to TechVets. Nothing's happened to TechVets. Mike and I do a couple TechVets throughout the year when we have time, and that's how it's always been. Paul Hack says hello from Armenia. Matas says hello from Lithuania. Matthias says greetings from Germany. Ernest Dillard says hello from the Buckeye State. WiseTech 2000 says hello from Ontario, Canada. Scott Peru says good morning from Australia. Jason Karam says hello from Lebanon. Captain Eugene Anderson says hello from Iowa. John Arrett, hello from Germany. Jay Gardner, hello from Berlin. Mario One-Ups is hi from Indiana. Patrick Manny is in Ohio, and he had snow today, and we just had our 90-degree Fahrenheit weather yesterday, our first 90-degree temperature yesterday.
Yeah.
Lovely Easter. All right. Liquid cooler time. Have you installed a liquid cooler before?
My own.
Yeah?
One time.
Was it, what size was it, radiator? Was it one that went across the top, or did it go in the back, or did it go in the front?
360 millimeter up top.
Is it 360 or is it 380? Is it?
Yeah, it's 360.
Is it 360? I don't know. I never installed one that big before.
Yeah.
Let's open that up so people can see it.
All right, we got an NZXT Kraken X62, 280 millimeter liquid cooler. It's got cool RGB light on the pump. I think that's cool.
What do we got?
We got an AMD brackets. We don't have an AMD.
We'll just set that in the back. Yeah. One less thing to worry about knocking over.
Two fans, 120 millimeters, the pump and the radiator.
Are those 120s or 140s? I think they're 140s. I think that's a 120.
You're right, they are 140s.
Right? Isn't the one
My
in the
bad.
back? Hold on, let me just check. Isn't the one in the back a 120? And this one's a 140. Yep. See the size difference?
Yes.
All right. That'll teach you for speaking up.
Sorry.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right.
I should just mute myself. Yeah. Go cry in the
Do you have
back.
any idea how many viewers would want me to mute me? Come on. All right, let me just set this over there. You're not done.
It's got a nice paint on it.
You know, for what that cost, it ought to.
Yeah. How much was this?
There's a link in the video notes people can click on to see the price. It's probably 170 bucks, something like that.
Wow.
So we're going to keep that cover on there because thermal compound is already on there and we don't want to touch it or get it dirty. So the first thing we want to do is what?
Figure out which way we want this.
Yeah, so how's that going to go in?
I mean, it's up to you.
Well, generally I generally put them in this direction. So the NZXT logo is going to be right side up. So it has to be with the pipes on the right.
That's what I'd say too.
Okay. Which means this is going to be the bottom of the radiator. And we want to put the fans then on the radiator right now. That'll be the time to do it. So if we know, so this is what the thing you got to keep in mind is when we turn this upside down, everything's backwards. So when you put your fans on, how are you going to put your fans on? Which direction do you want? Do you want the fans to bring air in from the inside of the case? By the way, no wrong answer here, but there's a preference to how I prefer to do it and the way the instructions are going to suggest to do it, which are the same. Mm-hmm. So you can do what's called a push configuration, which is where the fans push air through the radiator when they're mounted on this side. Mm-hmm. Or we can do a pull configuration where the fans are mounted on the other side and they draw air in through the radiator. Either way, it's pulling air in from inside of the case, which is what it's supposed to do, and then blow it out through the top. So, which way do you think I want to do it? I'll give you a hint. It's in the instructions.
Well, in the instructions, it says both. Oh. Yeah. You can do either one.
Darn it! Is that what it says? We can do it either way?
Yeah.
All right, well, here's the way I want to do it. I want the fans pushing air through. That's my preference. So that means we're going to mount the fans on the bottom, right? Mm-hmm. And we want the cables to be coming out so that they're going to be facing the back of the motherboard tray. So think about that.
Yeah. So like that.
And the orientation of the fan was correct. So get to work. I'm so bossy.
Yeah.
Where's the screws for the fans? Oh, it's in the kit. That AMD, that actually has, that wasn't just AMD. That's the entire,
It is?
yeah, that's going to have everything in it.
Yeah. Now is what's mounted on the pump ready to go for this, for Intel? Or do
Nothing's
they-
mounted on the pump.
Well, the brackets.
Oh, that bracket is for Intel. Yes, you
Okay.
are correct. This is an AMD bracket. That's why it says AMD on it. Right here. That we're not using. Dump all that out. Okay, so what he's got in here, folks, is he's got some thumb screws and some standoffs. Now you see there's 4 standoffs here where one end is longer than the other end. We're not using those, so put those back in the bag. This is for socket 2011. We're not using socket 2011. And there should be a back plate, a big plastic back plate. Beautiful, that's it. And then we're not using the AMD, let's get that out of there. All right, so we're ready. We've got everything we need. These are the screws we need for the fans. We're gonna need 8 of these with washers. I'll start prepping these so we can move this along. Darren White has contributed $2 to the channel. Thank you, Darren. Appreciate that. Go ahead. You don't have to wait for me.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
David Cribb has joined us. He's also a moderator in the chat. I appreciate you guys, the moderators, doing a good job keeping everything civil in the chat room so we can focus on doing what we're doing. Carrie, me, and Bob say hi. We are longtime fans. Ultra noob. Noob. Morty, did you see that? Did you see that noob guy, Morty? Noob is cool, Morty. Why can't you be cool like noob? I think I'm doing too many of these.
yeah.
How many? You need 8. You've got
8, yeah.
How many did you do? 3?
I did 3 already.
I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, well, that's
When you build a computer, guys, you should probably pay attention.
just a little bit.
We do try and have fun with this, though. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah, for you.
Well,
I'm doing all the work.
yeah, but it's fun telling you what to do, though.
I bet it is.
Okay, these are all the extra screws. The reason we have another set of screws here, as I mentioned, we can put this in a push configuration where the air is pushed through, or you put this on upside down, right?
Oh, I did.
Remember that this is
Yes, I was in
where the air's coming out.
Yeah, okay.
So here's the difference.
Yes,
So
pay
when
attention.
when I did it myself, I actually put them both on before I realized I did it. So, no big deal.
I wasn't even paying attention. Yeah, let's see how many mistakes I can make.
Yeah, you know what? If you don't make any mistakes, you don't learn. All you're doing is confirming what you already thought you knew.
Yeah. Or didn't know.
Well, no, if you confirm what you don't know, then you're learning.
Exactly.
But if you're confirming what you do know, you've learned nothing. John Anderson's contributed £2. Thank you, John. Thanks for your contribution and support of the page.
All right. Retry.
Oh, I see one of the viewers noticed the fan here. Slow Death said, do you want to get air inside the case from the top, or is he installing? He caught that before
Yeah.
I did. Nice catch. See?
Indeed.
People are watching, man. You're being judged.
Yeah.
Red Horse wants us, okay. So there's a guy in the chat room, his name's Red Horse.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy that actually owns this computer.
All right.
And he would like us to reverse the location of the optical drive with the memory card reader.
Will do.
You got it, Red
Gotcha.
Horse.
Got you.
All the parts and specifications of what we're building are in the video notes below the video. Just click on the video description and you'll see the part lists and links to every part available to you, and you can knock yourself out with all the specifications, measurements, performance, all of that's available. They want to know if you're my son. You gotta get that DNA check. You're already taller than me.
Yeah.
You're taller than me and you wear glasses. That right there, not mine. And that's my story.
Jerry, do you want it matching like this? Both.
I'm more concerned, yeah, that so my main concern is that the cables are coming out together.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Or should I?
hold on. No, I would do it exactly the way you've got it. Keep the
All right.
cables together. That's exactly the way I would do it.
All right.
But take that out for a second. I just want to visualize. If this goes in this way, is the cable coming out? Yes, you are doing it correctly. Please proceed. Some people can picture that in their heads. I'm not one of those people. I have to, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Dawn Outwin has contributed $5, says keep up the great work. Dawn, you know, we don't see too many females building computers. I don't know why. I guess it's kind of seen as a guy thing. So anytime that somebody's breaking stereotypes, I love that, love it. And she showed me some video of the works that she's done, and she does really, really good work. Not that I should sound surprised, but I always like to give a shout out for people that, like I say, just break those stereotypes. Anybody can do this. There's nothing gender specific about building a computer. We all use them, so why don't we build them? John Yasuda has contributed $20. He says, great job so far, Bryce. Keep it up.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that. I'm trying my best.
People are asking what parts we're using. Once again, all the parts are listed in the video description below the video. So please check that out. There's links to every single part in this build. And you'll notice Red Horse is one of the viewers in the chat room, and he owns the computer, so he's the boss. The boss is here, supervising.
Mm-hmm.
So everything you drop, he's noticing. It's going to cost me money to replace. No pressure, though.
Why do you think I'm being so gentle with everything?
Sometimes that causes worse problems. Winston Angloos contributed $2 Canadian, says, cool work from Vancouver, Canada. Thank you, Winston. Am I going to be overclocking this for the owner? No, I will not do that. Reckleboss wants to know, what career is there for building a computer and fixing them? How would I know? I've only been doing it 27 years. I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do for a career, though.
You can double check if you want.
No, that's not really that important. As long as they're not vibrating, you know, so they're not going to make noise. Mm-hmm. You're good to go. So now we're going to use these shallow screws, and you're going to mount that. And I don't care, however you want to lay the case or leave the case up, the top does come off. It should be, I think it's a magnetic screen, isn't it?
I think.
Doesn't that just peel off?
Yes, it is.
Yep, just magnet.
Oh, right on. That's cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, Jerry, I'm going to need your help right now.
Jason wants to know if I have any updates on Malwarebytes. So Malwarebytes had an issue. It just was a one-day issue.
Mm-hmm.
It was a one-day issue. I thought I made that clear. Once you're past that one day, there wasn't any issue anymore. That was a couple months ago. So, yeah. John Anderson's contributed £5, has been a longtime fan of yours, Carrie. Thank you for your contribution. Dark Shadow has contributed $2, and Danny McGrath has contributed $5 Canadian. You guys are rocking today. Thank you so much. What do you need? You said you need my help?
I do need your help.
You want me to cheer?
No.
You can do it. You want my emotional support? Give you a hand?
Do we need standoffs? No.
No. You need these little shallow screws here. There's going to be 8 of them.
Okay. All right.
They look a lot like the motherboard mounting screws.
Yeah.
But these came with the liquid cooler. We're using the screws that came with the liquid cooler for the liquid cooler. We use the screws that came with the power supply For everything else, we're using the screws that came with the case, like for the optical drive for the mounting the motherboard. Mm-hmm. So what you want to do first of all, yeah, just that. I should just shut up.
Was I doing?
Just tell me to shut up. Say, I got this. Say, shut up, I got this.
Oh, I'm not gonna be that confident.
Yeah, you can go ahead and feed those through now, so take the wire ties off.
Yeah.
We don't want any metal wire ties in here because they get brittle over time and then they fall off. And then you have a piece of metal floating around in your case, and that's never good. So what we want to do is, let's say we weren't going to use this cable, we would still take this off and use a nylon zip tie just to keep it from ever potentially breaking off.
Okay.
I'm going to set these right over there. People are asking about overclocking. I won't overclock a system, but I'll make a system overclockable. The customer can take the risks with that on their own, and the consequences and the benefits are on the customer at that point. We don't want to go through that hole.
No, this one right here.
So just so people can see, if we come around, you see there's a hole all the way up at the top. There should be some holes you can use somewhere. Let's see. Oh, maybe this case doesn't have it. You should be able to maybe go through this hole or this. So here, let's come around here so everybody can see what the heck I'm talking about. We have two cable management holes, one here and one here. Bryce was going to go through here, which is okay, but if we put it up higher, it's less likely to be seen. So I would go through one of these.
All right. Sounds good.
If you're just joining us, this is, if you've seen my other videos, we do the engine rebuilds with Subaru Mike. This is Subaru Mike's grandson. His name is Bryce. And Bryce has built his own computers, built a couple. And he didn't have anything to do today. And I said, I have an idea.
All right. Now.
What is the oldest computer I've ever built? The oldest computer I built is I took a battery and I got a flashlight light bulb and I hooked it up and made the light bulb come on. You're going to take that rear case fan out again, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm so glad it's you doing this and not me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Maybe it would have helped if we to put that in first. I don't know. Sometimes you just don't know this until you do it, unless you're building the same exact hardware over and over and over again. But think of how good you're going to be at taking fans in and out. I mean, you're going to be the man in a very short period of time.
Yeah. I charge $2 an hour.
You're going to be the fan man. $2 an hour?
Yep, to take apart.
That's cheap. Paint my house.
All right.
For $2 an hour, you can paint my house.
You got to provide the supplies.
Yeah, no problem. For $2 an hour, I'll get you all the paint you can use. Brushes, rollers, you name it.
I prefer rattle cans. Spray paint the house.
As long as you don't need an air compressor and a sprayer.
I've got those anyway.
People want to know what is the most expensive computer. Most complicated computer is the most expensive one that I did for Newegg. I did a $6,000 machine that was given away by Intel in a contest with a case that's a transformer case that you push a button and the panel, you can actually control it from your phone. The panels, 4 panels separate out and then the motherboard comes out and flips over onto its side, all while it's running if you want it to.
Wow.
Yeah, 6,000 bucks. The case was 2,000 of that. That's on Newegg's channel. I'm gonna pull these cables through for you.
All right. Now let's see here.
Is it gonna fit?
I don't think so.
You're still having an issue.
Yes.
Okay.
I think
So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna pull this optical drive out. It looks like the optical drive has to be moved to the bottom,
Yeah.
which is where the owner wanted it anyway. We didn't secure it, right? So we didn't have the screws in it. We should be able to just,
We did.
oh, we did?
Yeah.
Where's the screwdriver at? Let me just pop that out real quick.
Yeah, he said optical drive secure because
Yeah.
it's a little heavier.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if we were gonna save it to the end or do it. That's fine. Easy peasy.
Yeah, there's one on this side too. I'll do it. All right.
How come I don't see it? Oh,
Black.
I see it. Everybody can look at my back for a moment. Apologize, guys. Two-man job now. There we go. Perfect. Will it fit now? Yeah, the reason I was doing that was so you wouldn't have to take this back out.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, you're gonna have to put this end in first. And then straight up. Now here's the problem. So everybody can see, if we do this, and it does fit, we're okay on the fitment, but we're gonna have to move this card reader right now, because we won't be able to, oh no, we won't. I'm lying again. Because the card reader comes in from the front. We're good, we're good. So now the next step, come around here, and let's tilt this down. Grab the screwdriver and the screws, if you would please. And I want to line up so you can see. That's not where it goes.
No?
See
Oh,
these? Yeah. This really is a two-person job right here.
Yeah, the little rubber.
So those holes are, wait, don't put that in there yet. Let me make sure the others line up besides just that one. Where's the rest of it?
There's one.
Wait a minute, there's one. How come I can't see
Oh, yeah, I
it?
think they're two.
Oh, it's gonna go into a different set of holes. Look at that. That can't be right. That's only 4. Where's the other 4?
Huh. Blocked.
That's fascinating. Some people wonder why I keep going back to the X62 after all the frustration it's caused me in the past, but I really do like this cooler. But I've had 3 other case builds where I had to swap this cooler out for something else because it's big. And if people can see, let's bring this down. We can see 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's another one right next to it, which we can't see. I don't know if I can move this back anymore to expose the second one. It's just not there. And I don't even care about the second set in the middle, but I care about the set on this side. I don't see them at all. So we could line it up on the bottom ones, and those 2 bottom ones line up. See there?
Yeah.
But now the top ones, there's no holes for the top ones. I swear I put this X62 into a 450D case before. Swear I did it with no problem. You know, the easy solution for this is to order a Kraken X52, which would fit in here beautifully. The X62 is bigger and more powerful, does better cooling. We can make this fit with the 4 screws we have. It just bugs me. It really, really bugs me, and we're not going to be using the mounting holes. We're going to be using the vent holes. There are no mounting holes on the 450D for a radiator this large. You see the mounting holes are where the rubber grommets are, right here, and we're having to mount it through the slots. I think we're going to have to order an X52, which is a real bummer. How many times do I have to do this before I will learn to stop recommending this cooler? What do you think? It's been 5 times now.
I'm gonna say at least 3 more times.
You might be right. I really like this cooler. I really like it a lot. So much so that I embarrassed myself over and over and over again with it. I knew this was going to fit fine. I knew it was. I've done it before, and it doesn't fit. Is Red Horse still watching? Red Horse, what do you want to do? You want to go with a smaller cooler? You want to go with the X52? You want me to make the X62 fit? I don't want to make the X62 fit. I don't think it's a good idea.
You said yes.
Yes to what? I've asked like 4 questions. Can you not use 122 millimeter fans in the front and use the cooler as an intake? The radiator won't fit 120 millimeter fans. There's no, you're putting the fans right through the fins on the radiator. If we pulled the hard drive cage out, could we mount the radiator this way? But then where would the hard drive go if we did that? I've been in that situation before too. That would work if we didn't have, like, if this even comes out. Yeah, this tray does come out. It's on a plastic stand. This whole piece comes out here, and that would free up the whole front, which in theory, let's see. Let's try and cover one problem at a time. Man, that just, talk about a tight fit. Oh my God. The cooler's just too big for the case. People would be like, is this a repeat? Have I seen this episode where he struggles getting the liquid cooler in? Doesn't he say he's a professional? Well, professionals still make mistakes, folks. I got news for you. The difference is how we resolve our mistakes. That's what separates a pro from an amateur. All right, let's take a look. Oh, look at that. If we were to put it in, it would go this way. Yeah, so here's the problem. Yes, that will fit if we could get the holes for the mounting to line up, which I don't know yet, but we would have to take this out, and that means the customer would sacrifice his storage drive. There's no alternative. Is there an alternative?
Right, could you put it right here?
Yeah, you know, I think we might be able to move it. Let's find out. Let's find out. Let's just set this over here for now. And I'm going to take the drive out of here. Everything just got real serious. Still fun, though. Can we, well, no, so here's the problem. If we move this, let's just say, for example, that we could move this over here, we're going to be blocking any access to the motherboard right here. If we could move it over, how far would we need to move it? 2 inches?
Yeah.
Let's take a look under here and see what we've got. Well, this is designed for a fan. This isn't designed to move this.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I give up. I'm pulling the instructions. I'm going to do it. I'm not too proud. Is that intended to be moved? I think it's only intended to be removed. Minor supply. Optical drive. Hard drive, solid state drive. Really no information at all. Are they telling me I don't know what the heck I'm doing in the chat room?
Yeah, they're like, Terry's using the manual. Real men don't need manuals.
Hey, I put the man in manual. Yeah, I mean, the whole piece comes out, and I don't think we can move it. Rats. Yeah, we're gonna have a problem with spacing. It's very interesting. I mean, I see there's a hole here. Yeah, but that's not going to work. It would have to be along here. Yeah, I think.
One of your mods said, gave a list of what liquid coolers actually were.
Oh, that's Britec. Yeah, Britec, I don't want to use Corsair liquid cooler. I want to use a Kraken liquid cooler. I think the Kraken X52 would be okay. I appreciate the suggestion, Britec, but I really like the NZXT coolers better than the Corsair coolers. But I did have to do that. I did have to replace. We put an H115i on one, which is fine. It works. I just it's not as elegant. It's not as it's actually not as effective, according to the reviews I've read. And I just really like the looks of the X52, especially when you got a case with a window. If you have a case with no window, the H115i would probably be the right one, but it's definitely not as pretty. I'm always looking into the chat for ideas because there's a lot of smart people watch these videos, and sometimes they think of stuff that Britec says that cooler will only fit on the front. Yeah, a drill will certainly fix it. Britec is better than Carry. I would agree with that. Could we mount the cooler on the bottom and lift the cage up? No, there's no way. No way. So when you want to do that sort of fabrication stuff, again, that's fine when you're doing it on your own computer, but you don't want to do that to a customer who's paying you to build a machine that, they're relying on you. I mean, the reason they come to you is because if they thought they could do it themselves or that they could do it as good as you, they would. They come to me because they trust me, and I don't want to cut any corners or MacGyver it, to sort of make it work. It's not the way I do things. I'd rather delay the build if I have to get the right part. And I really thought for sure that the Atech 62 was gonna fit. But that's okay. I'll tell you what we're gonna do in the meantime, because I have a backup plan. I always have a backup plan. We don't have to stop the build. Entertain the people.
I have no idea what Carrie's doing.
You don't sound like you're entertaining them.
I'm not reading.
That's entertaining you.
Yeah.
I think you misunderstood. I've had this in my office for a long time. I don't think they make this anymore. This is a Kraken X40, and I've had a hard time finding a case to fit it in because it needs 140 millimeter space for the radiator in the back. And we've already taken the fan out, right? You know what I'm thinking?
Yes, I do.
Now, this is half the cooler that is, and I mean that both figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
However, for our intents and purposes today, it's going to be more than adequate. It's really only going to matter if you overclock, and if this customer wants a better cooler, I'll eat this. This is my mistake. I'll eat it. I'll put it in my inventory. I'll use it in something else. Sadly, I already have one back there I've already eaten, so now I'm going to have two. And I already had two, but I used one. So I was like, oh, I only have one left. I'm back to having two again.
Right.
This is, again, part of being in business is taking responsibility. Yeah. But again, it'll at least get us going today. And then whether or not the owner wants to keep it, it's going to use the same mounting plate and everything else. So to swap it out for an X52 will be a lot easier. But otherwise, we'd have to stop the stream and wait a few days until the new part comes in. So for the benefit of everybody watching and to keep this moving, we're going to go ahead and put this cooler in for now. And they said I'm a hoarder. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Just because I have a few 286 CPUs laying around doesn't make me a hoarder.
Let's just start putting this back in the box.
Yeah, if you would, go ahead and take the fans back off. And let's try and put it back in with the parts it came with, so that when I want to use it, I won't be struggling to find parts. Here, you know what? Let me just do this. Where was the bag of screws at?
Right here.
See, other check channels show their mistakes, show their corrections. That's what editing's for. You can always be perfect with editing. And then when somebody does it and they feel bad when they screw up, they don't realize, hey, the expert screwed up too. He just edited it out. So don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. Do you feel bad?
No?
No. Do you feel bad? Nah, it's fine. What about you? Do you feel bad? You should.
And do you have the little zip ties?
Oh, don't even worry about that.
No?
Yeah, it's...
I don't know, just trying to make it nice.
No, I appreciate that, but it's not important. But here, actually, I was standing on them. Is there no intake fans at the bottom of this case? You don't ever bring air in from the bottom of a case. Air always comes in from the front and it exits out the back, or the back and the top, or just the top. The only fan that should be on the bottom is the power supply fan. When you add more fans, you're adding more heat, and if you add a fan on the bottom, you're adding a lot more dust and dirt. It's a very unwise thing to do, and I can't stress enough. You only want fans on the front sucking air in, and fans on the back or the top blowing air out. Keep all your airflow moving in one direction. And I would suggest, if you don't agree with that, test it with some software, run your temps, and you'll find that what I'm telling you is true. But if you still don't believe me, it's still your computer and not mine, so it has no effect on me. You don't have to put that back on. It's nice that you're thorough, but we're just going to take it back out again at some point and use it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to send it back. I will reuse it. Did I miss a contribution? It looks like someone has contributed and it got right by me.
I didn't even see that either.
Where is it? 24 Vipers contributed $10. Thank you, 24 Viper. Matt E contributed 20 Danish kroner. It says, missed the video with Win 7 Ultimate and Cable Mess. Scott Peruse contributed $5 Australian. Says thanks for the knowledge. Boy, I missed a bunch of them here. I am sorry, guys. Looks like all of it. I think I'm caught up now. Of course, to everybody who's contributed, I really appreciate that. And if they've already left the chat, they'll see this on the replay, on the playback. You're done already?
Yeah.
Holy smokes, I'm sorry, I've been busy in the chat. Okay, now, what am I missing? All right. And you put all the brackets and everything back?
Yes, I did.
Good job. You know what to do with that?
Yeah.
This was part of it, wasn't it? Or is that part of this? This was part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is
Yes.
part of,
And then
I think, wait a minute. Yeah, this and this, but not that.
not that. All right.
Yeah, it'll help me when I take that apart to use it, that I have all the parts. Harry Sher wants to know the parts. Harry, if you look in the video description, and thank you for your contribution, he's contributed $5. If you look in the video description, you'll see a list of all the parts and links to those parts.
Oh, this has a nice braided cable on it.
Does it?
Yeah.
I wonder how old this is. I think this has been in my office for 4 or 5 years.
Well, it's kind of like stuck to the box. There we go.
It's just that they made them better back then. It's tighter fit. Why does it have a white fan? Oh well. Will that fit back there before we do anything? Will it fit? No. This is why I haven't used it.
Wow.
Wow, wow.
It
It fits on the front though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, let's put this one back in the box and I'll save it for another. One of these days, it's only been 5 years. One of these days, that's going to fit in a case.
I should just buy this off you.
Christopher Esch has contributed €2. Thank you, Christoph. Sorry, Christoph. Is Christoph German? The Chinese space station crashed into the Pacific Ocean. You know that was coming down, right? That Chinese space station? No?
No,
When you get older, you watch the news more.
well, I don't exactly have cable where I live, so.
I just read the news online. I don't.
What's online?
Now I know you're lying.
You're like, come on.
Somebody your age says, "What's online?"
Right.
I know you're not Amish. Where are my Amish viewers at? Give me a shout out. Nothing. Nothing. All right, let's put that back in the box. Okay. I'm gonna have a sale very soon on liquid coolers for anybody who's interested in buying a Kraken X62 or X40. Hit me up. I'll make you a deal. You are going to get a very special lesson today because I have another cooler. Entertain the people. We'll be back.
Gary, how many coolers do you have?
Hey, I'm a cool guy.
Hey, take this one back. Put it in your inventory. Your computer collection.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Alright, what's up, y'all?
I'll just set that over here.
I'm tired. It's barely 2 o'clock. I'm ready for a nap.
What other rabbits do you have in your hat?
What's up, Matt? Joke time. I don't know any good jokes. They're inappropriate. Should I start dancing? Will that entertain you guys? I'm not a good dancer though. I do play PC games. What is my name? I'm Bryce.
Bryce.
Another one?
This is the Master Liquid Maker 92. There's no other liquid cooler as cool as this. This has the radiator and everything all built on to the CPU heatsink. The idea is that if you have one of these really small, tight cases, this will fit in practically any case. Practically. I mean, there's still a handful. I know this is going to fit. I guarantee this is going to fit. Now, it's got a very small radiator, so it's not going to cool as effectively as the larger radiators. But again, it will get us up and running today, and I can pull it off and change it out. But we can keep the progress moving forward. This has 2 fans already on it. One's in a push, one's in a pull configuration, and we can have it vertical or horizontal. It's on a little bracket. It just slides. And it's all one piece. This is the coolest thing ever. I've got like 10 of these, so if anybody wants to buy one.
How much?
I'd have to figure out what shipping would cost, but they run about 80 bucks.
Oh, right on.
So that's the whole thing. See, so that's going to be on the part that goes to the CPU, and then it's on this bracket. So when it's mounted, you can actually, you have to kind of watch the hoses here, and it'll fold down, and you can have it that way. So if you have a really shallow case, and then it says Cooler Master, that lights up right there on the end, and it just kind of mounts a little funky. It mounts really easily on a socket 2011, but on a socket 1151, it's a little more challenging, but you're the one doing the work, so what do I care?
Oh, geez.
You can tell I've been into this before.
Yeah.
But that's all there is to it. That's all there is. So I think what I did is I think when I did this, it was, I think there were, I don't know. I was going to say I think there were other parts for AMD that I took out. Or maybe there wasn't.
It's built in.
Yeah, maybe it's
It's
all
all-
maybe it's all just the one. I don't remember. I built so many computers, they all just kind of become a blur after a while.
All right.
You have to remove the motherboard to install the bracket? No. No. I don't, maybe. Now I'm not sure.
Please,
I don't
please
know.
no.
Let's see.
Nope.
The case has a big hole in the back. See here? That's what that's there for, that big cutout, so you can reach back there. And you know what? Let's put this in the back, please. And these are your instructions. I'm a little frustrated that it tells you one of the first steps is to put the thermal compound down. I don't think you should do that first. So the first thing you're going to want to do is step around here. There you go. See if that bracket's going to fit back there on the...
Yeah, is it already ready to go?
I think it is. I think I've already set it for 1151. Let's see if we can do this a little on an angle so people can watch you.
I'll go on the side.
There you go. Is it lining up?
Yeah, perfect.
Look at that.
There we go. All right. Fits.
All right. Boy, I hope I don't run out of camera battery. Let me check how much life I got left on this battery. It looks like that viewer right there is falling asleep. Hey, wake up. Looks like we got an hour on that one. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Indeed. All right, your turn to do a thermal paste, because I don't trust myself doing it.
I trust you.
I don't.
I'll show you how I do it.
Tape.
I'm going to teach you something today. Before the end of the day, I'm going to teach you something.
Oh, there you go.
Compound. Compound. Clean tape.
Mm-hmm.
Paint. Nice even coat, just like paint. Don't want to see through it?
Oh, I am.
Some people like to use that dot method, but when you put too much on it, it oozes out the side. It's a big mess. If you put too little on, you can't see it. You'll never know. Mm-hmm. This is the only way I know I have 100% full coverage. Remember, there's a graphics card built into this chip. People used to say, well, only the middle matters, but that's not true anymore. You have to cover the whole thing across the entire heat spreader. Some people are so anal about putting this thermal compound down and how much money they spend on the thermal compound and fail to realize that underneath that heat spreader, Intel has slathered on a mess of the cheapest thermal compound money can buy. So there's people get really passionate about their thermal compound. I mean, dogs die every day in the shelter. They don't talk about that. All right.
It's all about the thermal.
No, this is more important than a dog's life in the shelter, according to the comments on YouTube.
Wow, I was taken back by that.
This is, I mean, it's not my personal view. I think these sockets, this is a socket, so if we had socket 2011, it would already have the back plate and the motherboard built in, and you just screw this in. It's that easy.
Oh.
You wouldn't even use that back plate. Setting up the back plate is what makes this install funky. And the other thing that makes this install funky is trying to get to these screws with the fan in the way. Now you can unscrew one of these fans according to the documentation to get to the screws easier. This is a sealed system, so we can't take the pipes off. The pipes are always going to be there. And obviously, if this is in a horizontal position, we're not going to be able to get to these holes at all. Now, I was able to mount this by angling the screwdriver because I didn't want to take the fan off. Mm-hmm. The fan is very easy to take on and off. I just couldn't be bothered, to be honest. Because this has been out, there used to be a cover over this. We need to clean that so that it's effective. Heat transfer is going to be more effective. Yeah. And so for that, I have something for that.
What is it, Kerry? What do you have? Is it alcohol?
It's funny because you'll see people on the internet and they're like, oh, there's going to be air bubbles in there. I think that's funny. You see, some guy thought it would be clever to show a piece of glass going onto a CPU. But the problem is glass is porous. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't apply the glass with the proper amount of pressure. The CPU heatsink has to go on with a certain amount of pressure. And it's not an airtight system. In other words, nothing prevents air from getting in. Nothing prevents air from escaping. Mm-hmm. This concept of air bubbles is so preposterous that I would say if you were like an extreme overclocker using liquid nitrogen, then the air bubbles may actually be a real concern. But the problem is regular folks, they watch these videos from these extreme experts. It's like you and I are going to go for a hike later. Mm-hmm. So you watched all these guys who are mounting Mount Everest, mm-hmm. and now you want to buy a $1,000 pair of boots and a sleeping bag that's good down to negative 70 degrees Celsius. And that's extreme hiking that you are not doing. But you're taking advice from extreme hikers. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. And then they come on to channels like this where we're building normal computers for normal people. And they think things like air bubbles, which is an improper test, actually make a difference in cooling. And it's clearly people who haven't done it themselves. And that's the difference that you can tell specifically that I've seen on YouTube. Because the people who've actually had the real experience know better. It's only the people who watch and parrot things out that they've seen. Those are the people you can tell they've never done it before. Because they would know not to say. They would know it's not true unless it's under extreme condition. So I mention it because I saw, as I was walking in, I saw somebody. There's always, usually more than one, continuing to parrot out. It's not false information, it's just information that doesn't apply. I know how to explain it. This is going to go on.
This part's all you, Kerry.
What?
I said this part's all you.
I know, and I said, what?
Yeah. There's a hair.
Yeah, hair. Well, sometimes
Thanks,
the dogs... That's it, Lyle. No dinner for you tonight. It's a joke. It's just a joke. I'm trying to remember. I feel like I'm forgetting something. What am I forgetting? Is it going to go on this way, or am I going to put it on this way? If I put it on this way, the Cooler Master logo is right side up, and we can read it. See the Cooler Master logo? Yeah. If I put it on this way, it'll be upside down. It works just the same.
But since there's a window, we've got to...
Do me a favor and hold that bracket so it doesn't pop back out. And hold the case from turning on the Lazy Susan, if you would, please. We need a third person.
A third one?
So I need someone to hold this. Actually, if we would have laid this down. Wait a minute.
You want to lay it down real quick? So then if we lay it down...
It's a slotted screwdriver. You know what? I'm just going to get my hands in there. There's one. Whoa. It's trying to run away. Whoa. Stay. Be good. Yeah, this is one of the ones that's hard to get to. actually the pipe is in the way.
There.
Oops.
Sorry, that was my bad.
No, it was
I
not.
pushed it out.
We're good. Everything's good. It's just again, it's such a big difference. Mounting this in socket 2011, easy. It's just a little bit challenging getting the thumb screws down on the socket 1151 version of this mounting kit for this. If there was any improvement to be made, that's, in my opinion, where it needs to be. But it's just an ingenious design. I really like the thought. It really thought outside of the box on this design. And I don't think it's sold too well. I'm not sure if they're still making these or not. They're not available like they used to be. I used to see them around a lot when they were new and the marketing company was really pushing them. And then after about 60 days, it all just kind of all the hype died down. And I had it for months before I took it out of the box, because they were asking me, what did you think of it? And I'm like, I haven't used it yet, you know. How can we improve it? And stuff like that. And then they stopped asking me, and then they quietly went away.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they gave up the design, or if they still sell it and they just don't market it like they used to. But the other thing, this requires a straight edge screwdriver. You don't have to hold that anymore. In the drawer, you should have a straight edge in there. Yellow handle.
Yeah, I mean, there's a small one. Is that okay?
I need. No, that's the big one. There's
that's the big one?
Yeah, there's a smaller one in there.
Where?
It's got a yellow handle, just like this one.
It's probably too small, I can't see it.
So on this, we need to go opposite corners. This one is really important because we want to make sure the heat contact is level. That's actually going to make a difference, unlike air bubbles. This is a real problem that you can avoid. And these pipes are just, so this is the problem with these pipes. But at least with this cooler in, we'll be able to fire this bad boy up and get the OS installed, and I can talk to the owner and find out what they want to do for a cooling solution. He mentioned the X52, which I think will fit in here fine, but I want to just double and triple and quadruple check that, because I don't want to make the same mistake twice. At least not with the same customer. If I make the same mistake twice, I'll do it with a different customer. So as far as they're concerned, it'll be once.
Man, that must really be a pain.
Yeah, well, I wish, other coolers, they have little holes you can go through. So this whole side, as you see, there's no pipes on this side. I have easy access to these two. See here?
Yeah.
No problem with these two. And I think it must be this side must be the one you can take off. And it's really important you get that tight so that it's sitting in there.
Flush and...
Yeah, flat and with as much contact across the bottom of that brass bottom that we've got, or copper, it's probably a copper base, sitting up against that aluminum heat shield, so that the heat transfer is going to be as good as we can get it, so the machine will run as cool as it can run. But taking the fan off doesn't really solve, well, I suppose it may solve I see. If they just gave me more slack with the coolant lines, if they'd have given me an extra ½ an inch maybe of cooling line, I can't tell if that's, well, there's one way to know. We can power it up. But you see how now I can flip this horizontal? Mm-hmm. Check this out. Which way do you think it looks better?
I'm kind of liking that way.
You like that way?
Yeah.
All right, well, put that rear case fan back in for me.
All right.
Chop, chop. Back to work.
No more fun time.
Happy fun time over.
Yeah.
Back to work. I'm gonna have to fix the video description once we figure out what parts I'm gonna end up using.
Yeah.
This in here. Warranty information. In this box I'll save because we're probably going to take that cooler back out.
Alright, let's switch these, this card reader and the optical drive.
Good idea. You got to push the release on the side.
This?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's what, when it clicks, that's what's clicking it in place.
I'll just put this one up.
James Hughes has contributed $2. Thank you, James. Is it getting easier
Yeah.
now that you've done it a few times?
Yeah.
You already got that cooler in. I mean, the rear case fan is already in.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. You put it in the right direction. Nice. Now, we're at a point where we can begin the cabling. Now, the cabling is just a whole nother project. I always consider it to be sort of two processes when we build a computer. One is the physical build, and then the second would be power cables and data cables. Now, because we've got an M.2 drive, we don't have to hook up the hard drive, the optical drive, or the card reader for testing purposes to see if what we've done so far works. What we do need to hook up is a keyboard, a mouse, power to the motherboard, which is going to be here and here, right? And we're going to use onboard video, so we're not even going to use the video card yet, because we want to ensure everything we've done so far works. The more parts we add, the more we have to diagnose if it doesn't. And some people even ask about building outside of the case just to make sure everything works. These days, with quality control being what it is, it's pretty rare that I ever get a bad part. I think that people who test their motherboard outside of the case don't realize how dangerous it is and the problems it can cause because you did that. If you have confidence in your ability to either follow instructions as I show, or your confidence just because you've done it before, and you know you're buying quality parts, you didn't buy off stranger on eBay, you're not buying something used, but you bought from a reputable seller, from a quality manufacturer, you should have no reason to ever test it outside of the case. It's very dangerous. I don't recommend it. I think it's a very unwise, dangerous thing to do. The likelihood of it not working because of a part being bad, in my experience, lately, is pretty rare. I've only seen a handful of bad CPUs in 2.5 decades. More likely if, maybe a motherboard, maybe a RAM module, but that can all be diagnosed in the case, where it's safer to be in the case. And then you don't have to worry about, okay, now it works, and then you damage it putting in the case, and then it doesn't work anymore. So that's my thoughts on that. I'm just trying to answer questions that haven't been asked yet.
Yeah.
And
get ahead of the game.
Yeah, exactly. We've got two cables here. One's going to go onto the CPU fan header. You see up here it says CPU fan?
Yes, I do.
So one's going to go up here. Or actually it'll go under CPU. It could go under CPU optional or CPU fan. I'm going to put it on CPU fan just to keep the BIOS happy.
Yeah.
And then the pump gets powered right from a power cable from the power supply.
Okay.
So that's the only other power cable we need to hook up. And we have to hook the front port switches up. Now I'm going to just do that really quickly. A lot of people are intimidated by the front cables here, but I'm going to show you how fast this is because they're all pretty much the same. So here I've got an don't want it coming out that hole. I want it coming down the next one. So we're going to take, let's see, this one, this is USB 3. And on this motherboard, we have two things that are USB 3 to hook up. The card reader is one, and then the front USB 3 up here is the second one. And this motherboard, I selected it specifically because it has two USB 3.0 headers. They're different than any other connector. It won't fit on anywhere else. But it doesn't matter which one we use. It's just a matter of which one's going to look prettier, right? If we don't have any cable overlap to make our cable management easy. And what I'm doing is I'm just looking to see which of these grommets is going to be the most efficient. I think the top one is what I'm going to choose for right now. And the Lazy Susan makes this real easy. And I will add a link to the Lazy Susan. That's a question I get a lot. What do you call that table that you spin around? Where do you get that? Then the next easy one is audio. That's to hook up the front headphone and microphone. And we can run that. It's going to plug in over here on the motherboard, so we want to get that as close to that area as we can. It only plugs in one direction. There's a pin missing. And on the socket, there's a pin missing. It looks like it's on the bottom. That hooks that up. Then finally, we've got the front port LEDs and switches. So that's your, zoom tight. That's your power LED, reset switch, power switch, and hard drive LED. And the way that's going to go on is we start with the hard drive LED. So we look for, right here it says HDD LED. I can't see which side's positive, can you?
Top is positive.
The top is positive? Like on the left or on the right?
Right.
Okay, so it's got to go upside down. And it's going to go on the bottom two set of pins. Right here. This is hard to film, and it's also hard to see because it's dark in here. What's this one say? Power switch?
Yep.
We're not going to do that one yet. Reset goes right next to the hard drive LED, the next two pins on the bottom. Right? And then this is power, back to the power switch again. This is the power LED, and one's positive and one's negative. Which one is the top one?
That's positive.
That's positive?
Yeah.
So I need these the other way around. I like them with the words facing up. The only one that don't have the words facing up on with Corsair cases is the hard drive LED. That just helps diagnose later on. And then finally, last one, power switch. So the power LED went right over the hard drive LED, positive over positive, negative over negative. The switches, the reset and power, they don't have positive or negative. They're labeled as positive and negative, but they don't actually have a positive or negative. So I just always put them with the words facing up. This goes on the next two pins over, beside the power LED, just above the reset switch. And that is the general layout on most motherboards these days. So that's the cabling done as far as front port umbilicals go.
Right on.
Now we just have to hook up power supply. So in the bag of cables for the power supply, when you do that, I'm going to hook up this rear case fan. Not that I have to,
but why not?
But I will forget if I don't. And I need to rotate this around so I have access to it. Where is it? Oh, it's got to go all the way up here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's scissors right behind you.
What?
Right in the knife block, there's scissors. Now, I'm not going to worry about making these cables look pretty right now. My only concern is making sure that this thing turns on. I won't do any cable management until we are completely done. Like, I'll have the OS installed and everything, because if there's any reason I need to take anything apart, having to undo cable management is just adding more time. Okay, so we've got the big motherboard connector.
Yeah.
That's for a graphics card. We don't need that yet. Go ahead and throw that plastic bag out. And there's a Seasonic bag there that can go in, or that's fine. That's fine. And then grab me out of the other bag, there'll be a regular SATA cable, if you would. Here we've got the main power cable for the board. And we're gonna plug this side in here. Sorry, I'm not taking some of the fun away from you, but now I'm getting anxious and I want to fire it up. I want to see it run now.
Flashlight.
Oh, where did that come from?
My phone.
Oh, you kids today and your and your Steely Dan. See, that wasn't plugged all the way in. See how it just popped off?
Yeah.
Okay, that's main power. Which end goes to the CPU and which end goes to the power supply?
Power supply, CPU. Boom. Labeled. Probably should just keep this flashlight on.
It can go right next to it. And then we're going to go right out the back. Do me a favor, grab that, pull it through, and put it up into this corner for me if you would.
Ooh, not long enough.
What?
No.
Yeah, it is.
It is?
Yeah, you got to pull off the slack. You got more.
Oh, I do?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't.
There you go.
For a second, I was like, oh.
No, this case isn't that big. This one's kind of a pain because they separated it into two 4s and we need both of them together. And it's a tight spot, especially with the cooler in there like that. That's why I say it doesn't, there's really no right or wrong order to which parts you install first, but you might find for your specific build that when you look back on it, things like this could have been done first. If I'd have known I was going to be using that cooler and if I had thought ahead, we could have, it's just I have an order of the way. I always do them all the same regardless of which components, and sometimes I have to work a little bit harder. Most of the time I don't. But every once in a while, like right now, I find myself in a tight spot here trying to get things to align. Gosh darn it.
Want me to try?
Yeah. This fan is in the way.
Oh my goodness. I swear. I guess, whatever.
What?
I was trying to make it point to the fan or the camera, but
No one's ever going to see anything because your hand is going to cover it up.
yeah, that's why I was like.
I'd have to have a case with like the top cut off and I can shoot the camera through the top. It'd make a great... Gary Test 0501 contributed $100 on TechVet. Wow, that's amazing. Well, this fan can also be lowered too. I don't know if that would help. You have any luck? Sometimes, so the argument you get with yourself is you go, well, should I take the fan out or should I just struggle a little bit? And for me, I tend to struggle a little bit because I know it's just a matter of getting it lined up right, plug it in. You get it?
Yeah.
All right, I am officially impressed. You have earned your keep. Very well done. Look at that, didn't have to take any fans out. See? See, you didn't have to take out the fans. All right, I just need one last cable, and that's going to go. This kind of bugs me, this cable management that Corsair has with this is I'm sorry, Cooler Master has with this. So all we're going to do here, how do we want to run it? Do me a favor. Put this end through the same hole up here in this top left. And then the other end right down through here. Thank you. Can you help me out with that? Oh, I got a little.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's it. That's as far as I need. Yeah, that's it right there. No, maybe it isn't. Yeah, that's right. Why is it not? There it is. It's just tight. And then finally, we just plug this last power cable on. Can you shine your light in there for me?
Yeah.
I'd like to get this as close to the edge as possible so I don't have to, to make the cables look pretty.
Yeah.
Because we're going to keep that one on anyway. That'll eventually, instead of powering that, it'll power maybe the optical drive and the hard drive. See, that's the problem with the hard drive on the bottom. The distance between these two is further. And it may be possible to run both off the same cable if they're closer together. And since we brought the DVD drive down, if we move the hard drive up, it's something for cable management to consider later. It may be possible that they'll still be too far apart. I may have to run two separate cables. It doesn't matter, except it's just one more cable to manage.
Yeah.
That's all. We're ready to test fire. What do you think?
Yeah.
Should we do it?
Yes.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to move all this stuff over to the side.
I'll put this right here.
Please? Please, here, let me move this over here. Would you grab that monitor for me? Liquid Maker 92. Might need those instructions.
All right.
And what do we have for video output on this? We have DVI, new. We're going to have to use HDMI. Let me grab an HDMI cable. On the bottom of the monitor, you should see an HDMI port. I think it's right in between. You can flip the monitor up on to see it better. And I'm going to plug into HDMI here on the back. And then I'm going to grab the keyboard and mouse dongle off of the streaming computer, and we're going to plug that into the back USB port. And do you have the monitor plugged in?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. And then I just need a pop. No, I'm not going to use that one.
Oh, you're not
because
gonna
that's they never wrap up as nicely. So I like that nice and new for the customer. I'll use one of mine. Make sure the power supply is on 0. It's off.
Is there only one?
No, we've got it on both sides. So either way.
Just roll this side. Why not? Ooh.
Okay, that's on. Okay, guys.
Double checking everything.
Are we on something?
Nah, it wasn't. The feet weren't on the
Oh.
stand.
Well, this is it, Bryce. This is it. This is a representation of the quality of work that you do. There's no pressure at all. The customer is watching.
I know.
437 people are watching. There's no video edits. This is all live. We can't fake this. There's nothing up my sleeve. I'm wearing short sleeves. Power supply switch into the on position.
On.
Power button. This is what we call the smoke test. You see, the computer runs on smoke. If you let the smoke out, the computer won't run anymore. Is fans turning?
Yeah.
How about the CPU fan?
Yep.
Yeah, that's all lit up. Got anything on the monitor? Nope.
No.
Don't block it. All right.
I'll block
Hold
it.
on. Wait. Is it doing something? It's alive!
Yay.
There it is. That's the best we can expect it to do. Now, if you want to get really, really brave, let me go back to my office and find.
I can mark that as my third computer.
What's that?
I can mark that as a third computer.
Can you
Boot up,
can you hear it?
barely.
Of course, my AC unit just kicked on.
Yeah.
My AC unit's louder than this.
It's dead silent.
This is Windows 10. Go ahead and turn it off for me. We're going to give you the real test now because we have enough in this to start the OS installation. A lot of people ask about burning in computers these days. If you can get an OS installed, like Windows 10, and it installs without blue screening, it's pretty much a good burn-in unless you have more than 16 gigs of RAM, in which case you're never going to hit above that during the OS install. But how much RAM do we have in this? Is it 16?
32.
Is it 30?
Yeah, 216.
Well, this will be a good start for the burn-in.
Yeah.
So I'll have to run like memtest 86 on it or something to. He shoots, he scored. See, that's a hockey thing. See how they did that? That's clever. I should have thought of that. Look how much faster it booted up the second time.
Yeah.
There's also going to be a new BIOS update, I'm sure. Look at it, it's already loading off Windows 10. Probably should update the BIOS first.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, let me turn it back off because I want to update the BIOS. I don't know for a fact because I don't know what BIOS this has. So I'm going to turn it on and you hit delete over and over and over again on the keyboard. Just start hitting it. There we go. What version? Let's go to system. We're on F5 on a Z370X PSLI. I'm going to go back on the back computer and see if there's a newer version than F5 on a Z370 XP.
Yep. All right, guys, I have no idea how to work BIOS, so this is all carry. A victory dance? I don't think so. I don't. What do I do? I play hockey. 18, just graduated high school. Yeah, that's about it. Can't tell you where I work because it's classified. Yeah, I was thinking about going to ASU. Hockey position, I play all. I mostly play defense though. I am proud. I'm pretty hype. Sing a song or tell a joke. I'm gonna pass on that one. Man, this thing is dead quiet. I was thinking about joining the military, but I have medical problems. I thought about just not telling them about my medical problems, so then I would be able to join the Air Force or something.
All right, there is a newer BIOS. It's version F6. It's only one new version up, but that's okay. It may do with the Spectre or Meltdown thing. I don't know, but for all I know, it could be other compatibility with other newer CPUs from Intel. I don't know, but I always like the latest BIOS, and I prefer to install it before the OS. People say, well, wouldn't you rather wait till you have a problem before you install it? And I would rather avoid a problem so I don't have to.
Yeah.
Right? It's hard to sell avoiding a problem. Sometimes people don't quite understand that concept. So we're going to do QFlash. We're going to update the BIOS. And all I've done is I've copied the BIOS file. It's a zip file, and I've extracted the actual BIOS part of it for this motherboard. And people used to get real nervous about this because you could brick your motherboard if you downloaded the wrong BIOS. Nowadays, it checks to make sure the BIOS is the right BIOS before it'll even allow you to flash it. So unless you have a really old machine, there's really no harm, no danger, unless we lose power right now, because this is not on a battery backup. If we lose power in the process of updating, it could brick the board. If that were the case, we'd put that little plastic cover back on after we take the CPU out, ship it back to the manufacturer, and it would only cost us the price of shipping it. But I haven't failed a BIOS update.
Well, I'm gonna go shut off the main switches right now.
I think I lived at my old house. Yeah, that would be hilarious.
No,
Let's do it when we're updating your computer.
All right. That's okay.
This person says 50 bucks at Kerry will forget to swap the optical. We already swapped it, but thanks for paying attention.
He actually did forget to swap it. I was the one that swapped it.
That's right.
Yeah, so.
I didn't forget, I just hadn't gotten around to it yet. We had to remove it because it got in the way of the radiator, but it turns out everything got in the way of the case got in the way of installing the radiator. Yeah.
Next time,
I mean, I'm not beyond making mistakes, but when someone tells me I made a mistake I didn't make, I get it. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I make enough without you having to make stuff up. All right, this should now be BIOS F6. It's automatically resetting itself. It's weird. I hear it click. I think I hear the power supply clicking. I don't hear. Oh, I can barely hear the fans. Maybe I can lean into it with my microphone and you guys can hear. You guys. Here, I'm going to jam it right between the fans. Probably shouldn't rub the microphone up against the fan. That's how quiet it is. I mean, it's freaking quiet. All right, now we should be at BIOS version F6. We can confirm that real quickly. What have we been into this? 3 hours?
Yeah.
It's not bad, considering the. Yeah, we're on F6. Oh. Considering the little hang-up that we had to get around.
Yeah, that took us like 40 minutes just with that.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Now we can begin to install Windows 10. Is the power light coming on up front?
Mm-hmm.
Is the hard drive LED blinking at all?
I don't even see where
right there.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Look at that. The fan's completely off. It only comes on when it needs to come on.
That's awesome.
At that little Liquid Maker 92, I know I sound like a salesman for it. They're not paying me anything. I bought them. I bought 10 of them.
Jeez.
Yeah. It is such a unique solution, and they're so hard to find. I bought 10 of them. So we're just going to click Next and click Install. When it wants a product key, there's a little part that says, I don't have a product key. Right down here, I don't have a product key. And I can do that bit later. So it wants to know what version of Windows. We're going to do Windows 10 Professional, 64-bit.
Boom. Maybe.
And then this is just a standard Windows ISO image downloaded. I've got a video that shows you how to download it legally from Microsoft. The only place we can install is, that's the other benefit. If we hooked up both the mechanical drive and the SSD, we'd have to choose which one to install to. By doing this now, there's no choice. And I just hit Next and the OS installs. I mean, that's all there is to installing Windows 10.
Right on.
Does anybody in the chat room have any questions? We're up to, yeah, people are saying the front fans aren't plugged in. That's done with intention. This is still effectively a a first boot. The front fans are not necessary. I will hook them up after we get the GPU installed. If you don't have a discrete graphics card, if you're running off the onboard graphics, you don't have to hook up front fans. They just add more noise in most cases. When you have a rear fan, nature has this thing called a vacuum.
Yeah.
It will automatically draw in the amount of air it needs. Then you get these people that say about positive air pressure, negative air pressure. I've seen both, and in Arizona they're equally dusty. The idea that one creates less dust is preposterous to me, but if it makes you feel good, people don't seem to understand, I think, that when I give advice and I give answers, it's how I do things and the reason why I do them. And if they want to disagree with me, it makes no difference in my life if they want to do things differently, because I'm not the one that has to be responsible for their computer. So looking at the, any other questions here? Any chance we can see the GPU install? Maybe. I want to make sure Windows installs first, and we'll see what time it is and how we're doing. Is the CD tray screwed back? No, we're not doing that yet. That'll come later. Is the RAM going to be left at the default of 2133? No, if it's XMP RAM, which I think it is, we just enable the XMP profile, but you can't, you're putting the cart before the horse. You want to make sure what you've got is running. Let me rephrase that. You want to make sure what you've got can walk before you make it run. So that's what we're doing right now. We want to make sure that the baseline of where we're at is running as it should, that we're not going to have any crashes or heat issues. Then, you know, again, we install the drivers, we go through a certain process. The last things we do, the finishing touches, would be like securing things with screws, like the optical drive, that would be towards the end. Cable management's at the end. Activating Windows is at the end. And we don't want to activate Windows until the end, because what if we have to reinstall again? Now with Windows 10, for the most part, it'll automatically reactivate. But what if we have a bad motherboard? Let's say through this process, the motherboard dies between now and the time we get the, I don't know, something happens when we install the GPU, we forgot to unplug the power supply and it arced, and now we've got a bad board, we've got to replace the board. Now Windows won't activate anymore, it'll say it's a different system, they want you to repurchase Windows. So you do that at the very end. Things like modifying the BIOS and tuning the BIOS for fan profiles or any sort of experimental overclocking. You make sure everything is running 100% first, unless you just like to do things over and over and over again. I mean, we've already struggled with the rear fan. Enjoying your build should be the first process. You should not be in a hurry. And I'll tell you why. When you build a computer and you get it done and it fires up and it works, you're going to want to build another one. So enjoy your build, enjoy it, and don't worry about all that stuff at the end. You know, that's just putting the cart before the horse. This is a process. It'd be like buying a book or renting a movie and going right to the end. It ruins the experience, really. And when you're a builder and when you're paid for your time and a client is looking at their watch, they don't want to see you screwing around having to redo and redo and redo because you moved ahead of where you should be. Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10, you can always install those without a product key. They go into basically like a 30-day trial mode. I think Windows 10 will actually run beyond 30 days. It'll just say Windows needs to be activated, and it won't allow you to customize anything on Windows until you activate it. So if you want to add the My Computer icon or you want to change your wallpaper, it won't let you do any of that until you activate. But it'll work, it'll run. And of course, it'll have that little annoying pop-up there until you activate. Looks like Windows 10 is almost installed. That's how fast the Windows 10 install is on a modern machine. Look at that. Wants to know our keyboard layout. We're in the US. and US again. And we're going to skip. We're not adding a second keyboard layout, so we skip that. It detects Ethernet. I haven't plugged the network in because we're using that network cable to stream with right now. So we're going to, right down here it says skip for now. And that should, we've got who's going to use this PC. We'll just put Bob. No password. The user can set up the password when they get the computer. Otherwise, because I'm going to have to reboot this a lot when I put drivers on and do all these other things. I don't want to have to enter the password. It slows me down. And I don't need to know the customer's password anyway. You want to make Cortana your personal assistant? You can choose yes or no. I'll say yes. I usually turn all this stuff off. Location, diagnostics, relevant ads, tailored experiences, and speech recognition. I'm going to turn all that off. That's it. There's your Windows 10 install. That's all there is. Is the front door open? With the air conditioning on?
I didn't open it.
Oh, I'm sure you didn't. I just don't normally hear the birds that loudly. Thank you. Yeah, not today. Here we go. Windows 10 is good to go. That's it. Windows 10's done. Now, the customer, of course, they have the optical drive, but if they didn't, to install the drivers, we could get a USB optical drive, or we can go to the website and download the drivers. Windows 10, for the most part, takes care of all the drivers for us. This is ultimately what I wanted to see, but what I'm really, really curious about is how well that liquid cooler is working on this chip. So to do that, I need to give it internet access. So what I'm going to do is grab I'm sure I have another network cable around here somewhere so we can not have to interrupt the stream. Yeah, here we go. Would you do me a favor and plug that into the back of the switch there? Or the router, I mean. And then we can unplug the USB drive. Ooh, it doesn't even come up as an option to unplug it. Now I should be able to access my network attached storage, maybe. It's going to let me. Yes. And then I'm going to get to PC testing software. PC testing software. There it is. We want Prime 95 and HW monitor, which should give us some temps. We're going to copy those over the network right onto the desktop. That's what's happening right now. And we're going to start the hardware monitor up. We'll run the 64-bit edition of that. Close that and move this over. Prime 95 is going to run all the CPU cores at 100%. In the real world, very few people would ever do this for any length of time. This is going to just pedal to the metal solid until we stop it. And we can watch the temperatures here. So you see here it says it's got cores 0 through 5. So this is a 6-core CPU. And we have the current temperature, the absolute minimum temperature that we've received, and the maximum temperature we've seen. So right now we're sitting at around 50 to 56 degrees Celsius. And let me just zoom in on this camera so people can see it a little better. I guess I'm going to have to turn it a little. Then we're running full bore. I'm just curious how that, because that cooler is so tiny, that radiator is so small, I'm curious what kind of a job it's going to do on a monster CPU like this. So right now it's 3:52. Let's wait about 10 minutes and see where it's at in 10 minutes. In the meantime, if people have questions in the chat, this would be a good time to ask, and we'll bide our next 10 minutes here by addressing your questions. Normally we would install all the drivers first to have a more, to give the operating system optimal opportunity for accuracy and performance, but it was good enough. Like I say, Windows 10 installs the majority of it automatically. How we doing on those temps? We're in the upper 50s, low 60s, and let me switch over to camera 2 momentarily because I got to change the battery out in camera 1 so we can keep this rolling. Let's see how I'm going to do that. Okay, we should be back on now. The battery changed out. All right, test has been running now for 5 minutes. We're starting to hit the mid 60 degrees Celsius range right now. What I want to see is temps that really don't go any higher than 75. If we're exceeding 75 degrees Celsius on this Intel chip, then that would not be good enough for me to recommend to the customer. What is our ambient temp? I don't know, what is it in here, about 70, 74 degrees Fahrenheit? I'd say it's about 74 degrees Fahrenheit, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's about 90 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Ooh, we're already hitting 70s. It's taking a while to get there. I mean, we know the cooler's working. What I don't know, honestly, because those screws, the thumb screws, are so hard to get to, that I have them as tight as I can get them. I might not. Though an 8700K does run really, really hot, so I suspect that cooler's just not gonna... Look, the cooler's fine for regular everyday use, it's no problem. But if you're gonna push all the cores for a length of time, which nobody really does anyway, then that cooler's probably not gonna cut it. Because if it's already hitting, we're already seeing a max 72, and it hasn't even been 10 minutes yet. Well, the thermal paste needs some time to stabilize. No, thermal paste doesn't really make much difference. Whether you use an expensive thermal compound or a cheap thermal compound, you're lucky to see a 2 degree centigrade difference, which isn't enough to make it worth, in my opinion, paying top dollar for some high-end thermal compound. In reality, like if I were going to use this computer for streaming and stuff like that, that cooler I put in there would be just fine. But if I were going to render out, I don't know, a 4K video, and it was a big video, an hour or 2 hours long, so it was going to render for a while, I would not be comfortable with this cooler. Certainly the Kraken X52 or the Corsair H115i will do a much better job. Or even going with an air tower cooler, like a Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo, or anything from Noctua would be really good. Thermal compound does age like anything else, and so every couple years it's a good idea, especially if your machine's running hot, but it's a good preventive maintenance to take it apart, clean the old thermal compound off, and reapply fresh thermal compound. I'd say every year really, if you're up for it, but as a requirement you could probably go, I don't know, 4 to 6 years, 5 years. It's just like they're saying in the chat about 5 years. But by 5 years, I can guarantee when you change your thermal compound, you're going to see a difference in your cooling, because it hardens and the thermal properties of it change over time. Noctua says every 3 years, but Noctua sells thermal compound. It's like asking a barber if you need a haircut. I mean, ideally, in a perfect world, you would change the thermal compound every year. But you'd have to be somebody who's really a techie kind of person to do that. Like a normal computer user would never do that. Should I change the thermal compound on a laptop computer? Yeah, it's the same thermal compound, the same rules apply. Although on a laptop, I wouldn't do it every 12 months. I would maybe every 5 years, 4 or 5 years, or if the laptop fan is starting to run a lot. If the temps on the laptop are getting up there. Roger in the chat says mattress companies say to buy a new mattress every 8 years. How many people do that? Be nice to afford it, though. I wouldn't mind a new mattress every 8 years. We're in the 74 degrees Celsius max temp, and we're at 10 minutes. I'm going to let it keep running. I want to see how hot it's going to get. If it hits 90, I'm shutting it off. We've got a T-junction. I mean, we've got a maximum temp of about 100 degrees Celsius. The CPU will protect itself. It will start shutting cores down and slowing down to prevent it from overheating. So there's no danger of overheating. It's just really inconvenient if you're in the middle of a game and your performance starts degrading. I see a lot of people on the internet that ask a lot of cooling questions, and my first question is, what problem are you having? The problem they have is they're looking at software and they're reading online that their temps should be a few degrees cooler. But they're not having any problem. They've just invented it. I don't suggest you go looking for problems unless you're somebody who's really bored with nothing to do and you're really worried about what benchmark numbers say. Furthermore, sometimes the software you use isn't accurate. The most accurate temperature readings you're going to get are from the utility software provided by the motherboard manufacturer. So I'm using HW Info, but more accurately, I should be downloading Gigabyte's software that will read the temperatures more accurately. But for what I do, I build so many, that would be a real hassle. Again, it ultimately amounts to end user experience. And I had a customer contact me because they ran out of hard drive space on their SSD. They had a small SSD. So I said, okay, I'll come in and I'll upgrade it to, they're cheaper now and faster. And I'll just clone what you've got to the new one. And when I opened it up, I saw that the CPU fan wasn't plugged into the motherboard. This is a Core i5 system. They had it for at least a year. And I said, have you had any performance issues with this computer? No. It's the fastest computer, most reliable computer we've ever owned. I said, well, the fan was never plugged in. But it just goes to show you how people use their computers doesn't necessarily translate to the advice they're getting on the internet with regards to things like cooling and applying thermal compound and all that stuff. Like here, what thermal paste do you recommend? After I just got done saying it doesn't matter, I use Arctic Silver 5. It's a little pricey. I've had good luck with it. It's respectable, but it's ultimately, you can use toothpaste. The problem with toothpaste, seriously, try it. Run your temps with toothpaste. The problem with toothpaste is we went to sleep here. Let's wake it back up. Is it dries out, right? And then when it dries out, it won't cool very well. So thermal compound is designed to not dry out. But people have used peanut butter. People have used mayonnaise. It smells. Toothpaste works really, really well, but for a short period of time, right? So I see people spend $40 for an ounce or half an ounce. You could get half an ounce of good drugs. I don't know. But all I'm saying is, and then you won't care about your temps anymore. Yeah. There are doctors now that can prescribe you pills if you're somebody who's really fascinated and concerned about temps that don't matter. And that's usually advice I give to people online. But the truth of the matter is, the thermal compound really matters if you apply too much of it or you don't apply it at all, right? And then you have people that delid the CPU and replace the thermal compound. They put liquid metal and stuff in there. But these are extremists. This isn't something that the average user should be doing unless they have enough spare cash laying around that they don't mind potentially damaging their CPU to make it go 3% faster and 6 degrees cooler, or even, I don't know what the maximum amount of cooling you could do with that, but I can't imagine it's more than about 6 to 8 degrees Celsius. Why not just use that money to buy a faster CPU?
Yeah, right.
But some people enjoy the challenge. I mean, nobody needs to be at the top of Mount Everest. Why do people do it? It costs a lot of money. They die. Many people die. Why?
So you say you're better than everybody else?
I don't know. I don't know why. It's just because they see it as a challenge. And, a lot of dead people that they can't even get their bodies. They're just frozen up there. So I'm too logical for that.
Yeah.
Ooh, I hear the fan spinning up. How fast are, how high are we now? Temperature, 74 Celsius. It's not too bad, not too bad. Is overclocking good or bad for a computer? Overclocking is bad for a computer. It will kill your parts sooner. You are pushing the components faster than they were designed for. However, if the life of these components is 50 years and you just cut it down to 20 years, you're still going to get rid of it long before that. So I wouldn't so much worry about it being bad for the computer and that damaging it. It certainly could damage anything you're overclocking, and you accept that responsibility when you choose to overclock. What's more likely to happen is you'll have these random blue screens or strange behaviors that you're going to be stuck with diagnosing because you overclocked. And it's for that reason I don't overclock my customers' computers. I want to sell them the most reliable computer they've ever owned, and it was engineered to run at a speed. You know, you can take the engine apart on your car and throw a turbo on it, and you're probably going to have to improve the cooling when you do that. And then you're going to violate your warranty or void your warranty. So, you know, if you're somebody who wants to do that, then you accept the consequences and the benefits of your actions. They made overclocking really easy nowadays. Companies like MSI, Gigabyte, and Asus have utilities that'll do the overclock for you.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good. They're pretty good. But for most people, they're the ones that need to be overclocked, not the computer. The computer's waiting on them most of the time. This idea that they want to make it go faster when they themselves are still as slow as they've always been, it's like getting a faster keyboard isn't going to make you type any faster. People, there's some kind of weird psychology about, I don't know, competing with strangers online, about being better than them.
Yeah.
Again,
Like you don't even know them.
Yeah, and it's a weird way to base how you're better. It just means you spent more money or you spent more time. That doesn't make you better. So, and unfortunately, there are teams of people that are professionals doing overclocking in a professional setting where it's a competition,
Mm-hmm.
and people, home users, are watching those going, I want to do that too. And they have big budgets. And the CPUs, when these overclockers, when they use like liquid nitrogen to cool the CPU, those CPUs only last about 3 or 4 hours and they're done. Yeah, and it's usually the most expensive CPU you can buy because you want to hit a world record clock.
There goes like $3 grand.
And I don't know where you go and buy liquid nitrogen, but if you get it on your skin,
Oh, it burns.
yeah, you could lose your fingers. Totally worth it, dude. Anna in the chat says, I have a Jeep and therefore I do not expect it to be a Ferrari. You know, you can get your Ferrari on the freeway at rush hour. You're not going to go any faster than the car in front of you. That's the same with computers. You know, if you're at a slow website, it doesn't matter how fast your computer is. Your internet connection is still the same speed. And the server you're visiting with your internet isn't, you have no control over its performance. And if you were going to race a Jeep against a Ferrari, you'd say the Ferrari's going to win, but not if it's an off-road race, right? So there's all different kinds of options out there for people that have different needs. So people talk about getting more frames per second, which I find is amusing. By overclocking, you can get more frames per second. The human eye can only see so many frames per second. You have analog eyes, you have analog ears. And you know, most movies and televisions you see, like this YouTube video, is 30 frames per second. Anything beyond that in gaming is, I mean, everybody's eyes are different, so I'm not going to tell you what you're seeing, but ultimately, if you're getting 100 frames per second versus 120, I would say that your eyeball cannot see that. If I tested you and put you on a screen at different frame rates and asked you to tell me how many frames per second you were watching without software telling you, you would not be able to identify anywhere near the number. And I wish I had the ability to do that so I could take on challengers and shut them up. Or they could shut me up. Because if I could meet a human being, see, people will tell you, I see the difference. But they don't know that they're seeing it. The human mind plays tricks on them. And it depends what the difference is. Like, are you seeing a difference between 20 and 25? Are you seeing a difference between 20 and 200? That's a different scale. But if we're talking about going above I would say going above 60 frames per second, I would debate whether anybody could actually see that. And then you've got screen refresh rates. Now, if your screen is only refreshing 60 times a second, but your frame rate is happening at 200 frames per second, your screen can't draw it that fast. So you're just tricking yourself. It's a psychosomatic result. But a lot of people on the internet, they don't actually test it. They're just convinced between the information they read and what they're experiencing, they've convinced themselves, and then they go out and they just tell everybody this information as though it were fact. So what you really need to see is a video. Actually, a video wouldn't help because a video is always going to be at 30 frames a second. But it would be interesting to see a scientific test where they were actually doing the different frame rates and bring all these people on that swear they could do it, and I bet you none of them can do it. There's a certain frame rate, I don't know what it is, but there's a certain frame rate that the human eye can't detect beyond that. So Anna again says, rich people like to show off their fancy stuff, but I like a nice vacation and a simple life without monthly payments. Yeah, there's got to be a balance in life, you know? I agree. The amount of money you spend for delidding and coolers could pay for quite a lot of things, whether it's a nice meal, quite a few number of nice meals. But, you know, people choose to spend their money any way they see fit. All the parts in this build are listed in the video description below. If you click on the video description, you'll see every part listed with links. Right now, we've done our first boot up with the OS install. We're testing what we've done before we take the build any further. We've been running this test now. We started at 352, it's 414. What is that, 16 minutes? We're hitting 74 degrees Celsius. You know, that cooler's it's not bad.
I'm impressed by it.
Yeah, for as little as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody always says bigger's better, and you know, got to spend more money, and you sort of reach a point of diminishing returns. However, if we were to overclock it, we might find that cooler's not so good.
Yeah.
So we can push this CPU harder with a better overclock, and I like to leave that option open to my customers. They might want to play with it. But when it starts crashing and blue screening on them, I don't want them calling me, because they created that problem. They can, if you created it, you can, oh, went to sleep again. You can fix it. If I brought over PC parts, would you help me build it? Generally, no. However, I've made exceptions in the past. You would have to send me a private message on YouTube, and let's find out what you've got. Because if you got junk, you're just going to be wasting my time. I've been sitting here for the last hour answering questions, and somebody on YouTube says it's so hard to get questions answered. Your question may not have been seen, or your question may be inappropriate, and I won't be answering it because it's not appropriate. So I don't know. I don't know what question that person asked. So I don't know what the case was there. Here, let's get this. We'll take a little break from this for the. There's Jimmy. Jimmy. And there's Lyle. There's Jimmy and Lyle. Lyle with his goat ear. Say hi, boys. Lyle. It's good to see you, boy. He's just ignoring me. You see, you can't smack a cat like that. You'll flatten a cat. But the dog, they like that. Oh, yeah. Let me get that side. Look at those. Look at that face. Look at her face. Oh, yeah. Where's your brother? Lyle. Lyle, come here. Lyle doesn't listen. Lyle's like a cat. I'll do what I want to do, unless you got food. Sit.
Next video, wow.
Foot. Give me the other foot. This one. No, I want the other. No, I don't want the whole. Oh my God, he's huge. Look at this dog. Oh, much. What are they feeding you? Miracle Grow? That's a good boy. Hey, Jimmy, can I overclock you? No? Can I overclock? You want to overclock, Jimmy? What are you doing back there, Lyle? Come here, you fuzzy thing. Come here, furball. Come here, you scruffy-looking nerf herder. Listen. Here's a good boy. You're a good boy. Here's a good boy. Yes, you're a good boy. Say hello. Nope. All right, well, that was fun. How are we doing on our temps? Has it burned up yet?
No. It went down, actually.
75 is the, no, 75 is the max. I'm only interested in the max.
Yeah.
Like right now, you're right, it went down to 68, but I'm interested in the max, because the voltage is gonna fluctuate up and down, right? You'll see the, we went from, we're at 91 watts, and we went up to 99.3, then it came back down. So it depends which tests that Prime 95 is running.
Well, it's doing pretty well.
Wow, I got the camera really screwed up from all that. Good boys. It's not your dinner time yet, boys. I'm really happy with the performance of that cooler. It's been running, if we go 3 more minutes.
Yeah, it'll be 20 minutes.
Yeah, it'll be 20 minutes.
I'm impressed.
And it's dead silent. I mean, I did hear them spin up a little bit. But when we put the covers on it,
It's not gonna. It is really quiet. Like, my computer is quiet. I'm not this quiet.
well, maybe you need to bring it over and we need to work on it.
I'm down. We can do that.
Yeah. Maybe we could upgrade it.
It's pretty upgraded.
You could theoretically boost it to 5 gig. Or, I'm sure we could go over 5 with it if we overclock it. We could probably hit 5.2, 5.1, 5.2. The max I think people have hit is 7. But again, it's not going to last very long. It's 7. That's with liquid nitrogen. And I don't know if that was Intel or AMD. I can't remember. Carrie, will you show the driver install process? You put the DVD in that came with the motherboard. You deselect the Norton and other junkware. Lyle likes boxes, and he just found one of the boxes on the floor.
Oh no.
There he goes. He's taking the box. He's out of here. I buy him dog toys. He doesn't play with them. I throw a computer box on the floor.
His favorite.
Get that box. Whoop. Get that box. Get it. Get that box. Shredder. Get it, Shredder. Are you part cat? Pretty sure you're part cat. Screwball.
Oh, it dropped down 61.
You screwball. Shred it. Shred it. Shred it. Get it. Get that box. Get it, Lyle. Get it, Lyle. Lyle. Oh, look, now Jimmy's doing it. Oh, he took his box. Jimmy never plays with boxes. He just did that to take it from Lyle. Stinker. All right. All right, I think I have... Oops, man, I always screw this camera up when I play around with it like that. Yeah, temperatures. So Prime 95 has been running 100% this whole time. Temperature is going down.
I feel like it finally hit its good spot.
And the max we hit was 75. That's really good. Now, there's a number of different kinds of tests we can perform with Prime 95. I just go with the defaults. But we could do more of a RAM test, or, I really hammer the CPU primarily because I want to test the heat. For RAM, I'll use memtest 86, and we'll run that through 4 series of tests. All right, so here's what we're going to do for today. I'm going to wrap up the video for today, and I think I will do the GPU tomorrow, because I am getting hungry. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry too.
And I need to let batteries charge back up. So I think that's going to wrap it up for today. As you can see, everything works. I'll talk with the owner to decide what he wants to do with the cooling option there. If we want to go Kraken X52, if we want to go Corsair, if we want to keep what's in there now. That's all options. Or even if we go to a tower cooler, maybe he wants to do that. I'll find out tonight when I talk to him. And then if you guys need to reach me for any reason, well, like I said, the Facebook fan page has been shut down. There's just too much abuse. You can send me a message through YouTube. And barring that, if you make a donation of any kind at the tech-vets.com, I will receive an alert from you, and you will get a reply from me that has my email address. Basically, what I'm trying to do is take care of people who take care of me. I am flooded with questions from people who just, I guess, are lonely and want somebody to talk to. So if somebody wants something from me, they have a question they want answered, something like that, and you can't figure out how to get a hold of me, by submitting any form of donation through the donate button at tech-vets.com, then I will respond to say thank you, and then you can reply to that response, and now you have my email address, and you can ask me what you need to ask me. And that way it should cut down on the number of, I get so many. I just want to make sure that I take care of the people that take care of me. Bryce, you did a great job.
Thank you. Try my best.
Oh, he just went outside with a box. What did he grab this time? Power supply box?
I can't tell.
What is that?
I think that's actually it's not the motherboard.
What is it? I just hope it's not a box I need. He normally doesn't do that. Apparently he's decided it's playtime. Am I on Twitter? I do not use Twitter, but I do have a Twitch account, which is not running right now because I'm live streaming this, and I don't want my Twitch to interfere with the YouTube live stream. So I think I'm going to continue this tomorrow. We'll do the graphics card install. I'm going to go ahead and do the drivers tonight. And just looking through the comments here. I hear people buying 144 gigahertz refresh monitors. Are they worth it? I can't see through your eyes. Go look at one. If you see a difference and you see the price, and the price is worth the difference, then it's worth it. Nobody can tell you what looks better. That's only something you can decide. Nobody can tell you what tastes better. Nobody can tell you what feels better. Nobody can tell you what sounds better. Everybody's eyes, ears, and feel are all interpreted differently. So maybe go to a retail store where they're on display, or if you know somebody who's got one, and see if that is appealing to you. I am not on Twitter, I am on Twitch. If you search Kerry Holzman on Twitch, you will find my channel. So for everybody who tuned in today, thanks for joining us. For all the contributors that have sent in contributions, thank you so much once again for that. All the administrators, everybody who's joined in, Technology Nerd, Bill Leatherland, Brytech09, Douglas Biggers, forgetting somebody.
I've got a terrible memory, don't ask me.
I don't know if Catherine Hauserman was in there, but if she was, thank you. And for all you guys that are supporting the channel, continue to watch it. Oh, Jitesh, thank you. Didn't mean to leave you out there, buddy. You got to speak up. So, yes. So for everybody, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Sorry about the lag issues early on. What are you going to do? And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Until then.
See you later.
No, it's bye for now.
All right, well, bye for now. Gosh. It's in the back.